sorry about that. That was gross. Alright. This is dope. Streaming on all the places. Alright. Let's go. Oh, gonna start the stream off with a devotional here. The wonderful names of our wonderful Lord. Hey, Merkin. Name number 8. The peace offering. And if his oblation be a sacrifice of peace offering, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord. Leviticus 3:1. Is there any point of dispute between thy Lord and thee? One little thing which thou dost not surrender? He is right. He cannot change. It is thy heart which must surrender. Then canst thou receive the peace which passeth knowledge. He has made the offering which atones for all thy past, but thou must yield thy will to him. Shall it be now? Maru's Boneyard. I like it, man. I like it. Oh, shit. I lost my place. How's it going today? Musty, Maru. Why'd the name change? You gonna start streaming, Maru? Am I gonna be able to raid Maru soon? No Crimson? Fuck, I hope not. We're not doing politics today, so hopefully that makes him... That throws off the scent for the stream, and he doesn't insist on coming in here and acting like a total dweeb. It's fun to troll when you're actually good at it. Crimson is, like, not intelligent. So, it's like being trolled by a 5th grader, you know? Not even a 5th grader, like a 5-year-old. It's like, okay, I see you trying to get under my skin, but for you to do that, you would have to have something I respected. So... Working on OBS mostly, just tired. Just tried stream. Audio is wonky. Yeah, I gotta get the audio. Dude, it took me so long to figure out my audio situation. What are you using? Voice Meter Banana? That's what I use. I use Voice Meter Banana. How's it going, Zuga? What? What are you saying to fuck about? Also got a new headset with microphone. Unfortunately, mic's sensitive to have to screw around with it. All right. I hope the, hang on, let's do a little test here. It does not look like the YouTube chat comes through. Also got a new headset with microphones. Unfortunately, mic's sensitive to have to screw around with it. Wait, I already read that. Yeah, I already read that. I'm sorry, I took a little bit of THC. Okay. All right, I guess I'm just going to close this window really quick. And we are, in fact, live. All right. I just got home, saw the family before the move. Nice. How you doing today, Z? It's good to see you.
Hand-to-hand fights in Naruto
Oh no, I can't hear it. Hang on. I'm so stupid.
have always been one of the series' strong suits. Some of people's favorite fights from the series normally include a section of the fight where characters are just throwing hands with each other. Rock Lee vs. Gaara, Naruto vs. Sasuke, Naruto vs. Sasuke Part 2. I could go on and on, but you get the point. There are obviously varying degrees to taijutsu skill, just like there would be with any other part of fighting, but there is one character in particular that has top tier combat skills. And
Musty, I'm super glad to hear that. Praise be to the Lord, dude. That's amazing. I'm glad to hear it, man. I'm really glad to hear it. I've been out of that house for... been out of the house for 6 hours. Why would you ever do that, though? The sun is outside.
Hi, Jeremy. Jeremy. And that's it for the almond milk.
That's it for the almond milk?
Yep.
Oh, no.
I know.
This is a tragedy, guys.
Yes.
What are we ever going to do?
I'm gonna do. I can't wait to actually get to making our own almond milk. Because that would be dope.
You need to
Kick.
open up a window for Kick and YouTube chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I figured out how to get us live on iLife at YouTube.
Awesome.
The reach ever grows.
Yes.
I felt great these last few days. I just opened myself up and let it in. Everything I've been stressing about lately. Good. Hey, man. Sorry I haven't been able to make it to some at work. Dude, you don't need to apologize for not making stream. It's whatever, you know? You do you, bro. If you got work, you got work. I'm not gonna... I would never be mad at you for missing the stream for work, bro.
Right, yeah.
Like,
We will do our best to always be here.
and remember, if we get kicked off of Twitch or YouTube, you can find us over on Kick and Twitch. Or Twitter. Kick and Twitter. And Rumble. Kick, Twitter, Rumble.
Well, it's X.
I know. X. Aren't I so Xy? Get it? It's a pun for, like, being edgy. You know, right, guys?
I thought it was a pun for being sexy. But alright then.
Went up to have my guitar checked, and I was restarted. Then drove at my dad's. Then drove down to mine. So I got to see cousins.
Your guitar.
I hope your cousin's knee surgery recovers quickly and fully.
Yep. Yeah, because I hear that those are no jokes. Okay. I guess I can only see.
No shit, Murky. No shit, man. That's fantastic. I just highly encourage you, if you like, you could also host it here on Twitch, but put that stream on if you're just starting, put that stream on Rumble and put it on Kick, so you can start growing your audiences there, because both those platforms, they're gonna supersede the existing stuff, or at least be a equal rival to it in not very much time. So, and especially if that's the premise of your stream, open conversation and debate, yeah, you're going to want to do that on Rumble and Kick.
Yay, alright.
Both for audience growth and so you have an insulation against Twitch inevitably banning you.
Yes. Okay.
Absolutely, man. And I'd be happy. Let me know if you do it from that account. You just come in here one day and say, hey, you started, and I'll follow you. And if you decide to make another account so they're separate, you just let me know. And You just let me know and I'll follow you on your streaming account.
And I think they've gone ignored for far too long, that being the main character himself, Naruto Uzumaki. I've gathered every fight relevant to dissecting Naruto's taijutsu skill and the progression of that skill throughout the series, and I'm going to explain in full why Naruto is god tier when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. Before we begin, I'd like to ask if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, as I'd greatly appreciate it. When it comes to Naruto as a kid, he doesn't have too many impressive feats of taijutsu skill, but he certainly does have a lot of power. There is obviously this insane combo that he throws at Sasuke, literally one of the most iconic combos of all time. But while Naruto was violating Sasuke here, he was also massively stronger than him after gaining a lot of the Nine Tails chakra. Similar in this regard is his fight with Neji.
What now?
I think we watched this one, didn't we?
No, this is about a totally different Naruto fight.
Okay.
Bro, I'm sorry. I'm having nostalgia, okay?
Okay.
Neji is obviously a very skilled taijutsu user. The gentle fist is one of the best taijutsu moves in the entire series, and the 8 trigrams palm technique just sort of takes that to the next level, even to the point where after Neji debuted the 64 palms as just a beginning, the head of the clan mentioned that a member of the side branch had completely surpassed the members of the main branch. But when Naruto gets his big QB amp, he doesn't really engage in hand-to-hand combat with Neji. They have a couple of clashes, but it really just shows that Naruto and Neji are equal to one another in terms of speed, and they aren't on the ground or anything like that. They do these soaring strike Dragon Ball Z punches at each other, and then have a Nine Tails punch to rotation clash. Naruto vs. Gaara is also another example. He kind of just makes 1,000 clones and beats Gaara up. I'm not going to get into info dumping all of these. It's kind of apparent. Just think of any time Kid Naruto beat someone up in taijutsu and think about how much taijutsu skill went into it versus just raw power. Not saying Naruto is a dunce when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, but he's not the taijutsu god that he would become later on in the series either. When do I really
You know, you can play around with that. His taijutsu I would say never in the series is his taijutsu bad. So this guy's, well, yeah, he just said he's not trying to say he's a dunce. I don't know. It just feels, I don't know. This guy just kind of, I feel like he's slightly underplayed Naruto through the early part of the series. Like, yeah, he wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. Like, he was always decent. Like, there's average, and then there's the point that he started out at in the series. Like, the whole thing at the beginning of the series was his ninjutsu sucked. And that's been one of his consistent struggles throughout the entire thing. He always had hands.
I think Naruto started to get more skilled at hand-to-hand combat, likely during his training at Mount Miyaboku with the Sage Frogs, because as far as I can tell, his training with Jiraiya did not include this, and as we all know, he didn't seem to learn that much during his 3 years away anyway. After that is when he trains.
He didn't seem to learn that much from his 3 years away anyway? Okay. Alright, I got beef with that statement. He didn't learn things that were readily visible in the form of an overt technique change or new move or power-up state. But he became, at a base level, he became so much stronger and so much more refined in his ninjutsu and taijutsu and chakra control that he became able to compete with Sasuke after 3 years being with Orochimaru. And you do not tell me that Orochimaru was not fucking drilling Sasuke's ass. Double entendre. So to say that Naruto like didn't learn that much during that time period, no, he just didn't learn much flashy shit. His fundamentals, though, like his basic knowledge and skills and his understanding of his fundamentals, absolutely grew and became more concrete. And you can measure that through power scaling and the power creep of the series after the time jump.
With Kakashi for the Rasen Shuriken, and that just involves a ton of chakra control exercises, nothing taijutsu oriented. The first time we see Naruto sparring with someone in hand to hand is with Pa on the cover of chapter 420, and they are specifically training his Kawazu Kumite or Frog Kata, whichever one you want to call it. I'd like to take a brief moment to go over some of the taijutsu moves that Naruto knows, and specifically the ones that he can use or access while he's in Sage mode, that being Frog Kata and Frog Strike. Both of these moves have entries in the 4th data book that I want to read, but they also have pretty impressive appearances in the manga. In case you need your memory jogged a bit, Frog Kata is what Naruto used to one-hit the Predator Path of Pain after he missed his punch.
I've never watched Naruto, but Rock Lee, my favorite. Oh yeah, dude, Rock Lee, he's a fan favorite for a reason, dude. That dude has some of the most iconic fights in the series, and it's what I love about Rock Lee and what most people love about Rock Lee. Motherfucker lives in a world of magic ninjas. This motherfucker lives in a world of magic ninjas where people can basically throw the sun at you or like destroy your mind with illusions or impersonate you perfectly. He's coming into that world and he's like, I got hands. It's just so baller. Never was there a more baller character than fucking Rock Lee, who's just like, yo, I know you coming with that Rasen Shuriken, double mega super sphere orb, chakra doom fist, but I cast fist.
Hi, Twisted.
So good. Yep, uses one style, the Bone Break style, or the Bone Break Fist. Yep, that is Rock Lee's fucking style. Of course, what really saves him, and we all acknowledge this, what really saves him is the chakra gates, right? That's the only reason he's actually competitive, and that's still technically ninja magic. But he has only internal ninja magic. In a world full of external ninja magic, he only dude who use only internal ninja magic. Oh god, Rock fucking Lee, bro. Twisted, you take that attitude, you get the fuck out. Can't believe you just said that shit in my chat.
And Frog Strike is what Naruto used on the Four Tails to free the rod from his skin that was temporarily binding him to the Jinchuriki. Anyway, both of these moves are insanely strong. I'm going to start with Frog Kata since I think Frog Strike is actually kind of broken and it's derived from Frog Kata anyway. This is what Data Book 4 has to say about Frog Kata. A terrific taijutsu that the ones who learned Senjutsu mastered. It's the Frog Kata. By turning into Sage mode, the user reaches the point of being able to take in natural energy and the power of perception is expanded. With it, you can sense the movement of the opponents to the point of releasing an intense counterattack that matches the enemy's attack. Furthermore, the energy becomes part of the user's body and both the range and power of the attack rise. It's a flawless taijutsu that has no openings either in attack or defense. So not only can Naruto precog the attack you're about to throw at him, he can throw counterattacks that don't even have to hit you to land a hit on you. It kind of makes me wonder why Naruto doesn't use this anymore, but it really doesn't matter. Naruto used this to one-shot the Predator Path of Pain, and it's not like, oh yeah, Naruto hit him away. No, Naruto hit the Path of Pain so hard that in order for it to get back up, it had to be revived by the Naraka Path of Pain. As far as I know, the Pains have the durability and I guess the same HP bar, however you want to call it, as normal people, meaning you can kill a Path of Pain and put it out of commission. What I mean by that is that even though the Pains are already dead bodies, you can sort of kill them again. I guess an example of this would be Naruto hits the Diva Path with Rasengan, but he doesn't destroy it, but it still knocks it out of commission for the rest of the fight. The Asura Path is the only known one to survive lethal damage done to its body, but if you think that can apply to all Pains, that only strengthens the argument I'm about to make. which is that Naruto essentially one-shots a pain and unalived it with this taijutsu move. I know it isn't technically alive anyway, like I mentioned earlier, but you get what I mean. He one-shot a pain, and everyone should be able to understand that at the bare minimum. The next taijutsu move granted access to is Frog Strike, and this is what the data book has to say about that. It's one of the taijutsu of the Frog Kata passed down on Mount Myoboku. It gathers the Senjutsu chakra taken in and needs the energy from Mother Nature onto the palm. By slapping an enormous power on the target of the attack, it causes the first and probably last damage. This technique is an inside destruction taijutsu that doesn't destroy the outside surface and transmit the power of the chakra like a wave. For this reason, it is effective also against enemies who have a strong defense. Like I mentioned earlier, this taijutsu move is the move he used on the Four Tails in combination with one of his KCM clones to remove the rod that was binding it to its Jinchuriki. This move essentially is Sage Mode Gentle Fist that attacks your opponent's insides rather than the outside, and we actually see this in the manga itself. When Naruto strikes the Four Tails, you can see the chakra transmit inside of it and push the rod out. In case anyone needs a refresher, this is extremely potent and important in the world of Naruto because, as Kakashi mentions, these shinobi and ninja cannot train the insides of their body or their organs. So if Naruto attacks your organs, you're pretty much finished. So aside from being trained in hand-to-hand combat, Naruto gains access to both of these completely broken moves, and it really only gets better from here. Now, I know that Storm 3 isn't canon, but it's also really cool and I want to talk about it anyway. So do you remember this scene here when Naruto saves Sakura from Sasuke and gets a cut on his cheek, and then Naruto and Sasuke proceed to do their Rasengan Chidori clash? Storm 3 adds in a little bit of filler in the middle of here, and Naruto and Sasuke proceed to engage in one of the coolest fights in the franchise as a whole. And while Sasuke is kind of tired and doesn't have his Sharingan here, that doesn't make him any less skilled aside from him being unable to precog his opponents. And Naruto is shown time and time again clashing with Sasuke, properly countering his moves, and at one point he even tricks Sasuke with a shadow clone to land a pretty clean punch on his face just before the end of the fight. Like I said though, this game sadly isn't canon and this fight is nowhere to be seen in the manga or anime, and it goes down a completely different way. I just wanted to mention it because it seems like even across canons, they recognize that at this point Naruto's taijutsu is pretty good. And if you want to be super technical, I guess this is technically kenjutsu because Sasuke is using a sword and Naruto is using a kunai, but whatever, let's get back to the manga. I'm not gonna count Naruto's fight against the Raikage or any of the Zetsu because he was really only playing defense on the Raikage, and the Zetsu only get dealt with by Rasengan. But if
I feel like that's a thinly veiled sexual innuendo / threat.
Very possible.
If I were to say where Naruto got his next pretty impressive feat, it'd have to be against Itachi. Keep in mind, in between the last point I talked about and now, Naruto has gained KCM, so he has access to a few new abilities that he didn't have before, just like with Sage Mode. But
you mean the giant explosive phallic object? We all know that when you say you meant with J-Dams, you were just using that as a metaphor for your dick. Oh, that was a good little rant there. That's going. That's getting clipped. I do like the quick please stand by scene page. Oh yeah, I'm happy to potentially see it here soon, man. Maru is gonna start streaming.
Oh, nice.
Yep, that's two of us. That's two people in one stream that have announced they're gonna start streaming.
Awesome.
People are speaking up and speaking out because of me, Jeremy. Oh, I feel so special. Just a little bit special.
They are a lot simpler this time around and need less explanation, so I'll go over them when it's appropriate. When Naruto is fighting against Itachi, I have made the argument before that Itachi or Naruto doesn't have to be moving at full speed technically or going all out per se, especially since Itachi is a zombie at this point and taking orders directly from Kabuto, and Naruto is clearly being put on the defensive while also trying to tell Itachi about Sasuke and what he's doing now. I think what's really impressive here is that Naruto is able to combat a Sharingan user and dodge their attack.
Dude, that 30 days really did seem like it was just dragging on, didn't it? It was like, yo, didn't he say he was banned for 30 days like 2 years ago? Like, that's how it felt. Like, goddamn.
And for the first time, I don't think that's due to a huge difference in power. The clash starts with Naruto and Itachi throwing a blow at each other, but then quickly becomes Itachi pushing back Naruto, and Naruto is staying in there, seemingly blocking all of Itachi's attacks that he throws at him. And Itachi is so skilled in this fight that he's even dodging Killer Bee's attacks when he's not even looking at him. The anime stretches this out a little bit more and has Naruto doing a lot more clashes with Itachi instead of just playing straight defense. Just mentioning that for anyone who'd be interested. This is where I'll mention Naruto gained something valuable, that being his Nine Tails chakra arms. These next two things aren't directly tied to taijutsu, but when I mention them you'll see how they could easily be applied to hand-to-hand combat. Chapter 553 opens with Naruto appearing behind Mu, the second Tsuchikage, or technically one of Naruto's clones, but whatever, that doesn't really matter. He appears behind Mu holding a planet Rasengan and tries to hit him with it, and it misses. Gaara then holds out a piece of sand, and Naruto is able to use a chakra arm from his torso to spring load himself back at Mu, and when Mu threatens to launch his jutsu faster than Naruto does, Naruto uses another chakra arm out of his normal arm to get to Mu before Mu can do that. Then Naruto appears across the battlefield to fight the third Raikage. He uses his chakra arms to form a Rasen Shuriken, launches an arm at the Raikage, and when the Raikage dodges, he hooks the arm around to throw the Rasen Shuriken. And when the Raikage dodges again, Naruto runs and catches the jutsu with Nine Tails chakra to slam it into the Raikage. Now, like I said, while those examples are not explicitly taijutsu, I'm sure you can see a way in which they can easily be used in a taijutsu fight. And then Naruto was able to use the danger sensing as well as speed amp from Sage mode to make the Raikage clash with himself and blow a hole in his chest so that the Shinobi Alliance could seal him away. This is extremely impressive because the third Raikage has been running around the field essentially impenetrable at this point. Tamari, the strongest wind style user, couldn't do anything. Naruto couldn't do anything with his Rasen Shuriken. Even though he was able to take the Raikage's cloak off of him, it wasn't able to incapacitate him long enough for him to be sealed. So this was a really impressive feat whenever Naruto managed to pull it off in Sage mode. Also, can I just mention, this is a clone of Naruto bodying two Kage back to back, and he did get some help from other people, but mostly in the Raikage fight it was just information, and then in the other fight the only help he really received when taking down Mu was Gaara putting the piece of sand down and then actually sealing Mu at the end of the fight. But other than...
Okay, so here's why people should give people who like anime a little more respect. You know what time it is. It used to be that people who spent their time talking about stories and analyzing characters and commenting on the finer points of the creation of a narrative were considered to be some of the highest intellectuals in the land. There was a time where analyzing and breaking down stories was the intellectual pastime. And even when that time faded from grace, it has still never been in the category of pastime of this is what idiots do. What this man is doing right now is nothing short of Victorian era level breakdown of narrative components, specifically combat in this one. This man is engaging in a gentleman's pastime, analyzing martial prowess in a narrative. And people shit on him and call him a weeb. My brother in academia. My fellow connoisseur of the craft of narrative analysis. And they call him and me a weeb. I don't like it. So yeah.
In that, Naruto did the heavy hitting work to put them down. Now, this next fight I could cover in great length, but for the most part I do not think that that's needed at all, and I'm talking about Naruto and B versus Obito 6 Jinchuriki. There was a long time ago that everyone tried to manipulate the context of this fight, but I don't see people doing that anymore, so I won't go out of my way to debunk any of that stuff. Naruto does display in this fight that he doesn't even need to see you in order to combat you when he's in KCM, because he can see your intent instead, which is a pretty busted ability. Now, this is just in the context of Naruto being blinded by lights, so it may be different if someone's to come up from behind him while he's currently occupied with another opponent or something, but that's whatever. Aside from this, like I mentioned earlier, Naruto uses his Sage Mode Taijutsu in order to save the Four Tails from being binded to his Jinchuriki. After this, it's a really long time before Naruto starts engaging in hand-to-hand combat again. As far as I'm aware, he just beats up Ten Tails clones, and then the next time he fights hand-to-hand is against Madara's Limbo clones whenever he launches the Infinite Tsukuyomi. Then in the anime, Naruto manages to compete with Sasuke in hand-to-hand combat. I think it's pretty clear they're both holding back in power at the beginning of the fight, but I don't think that means they're holding back their skill in any way. Especially since Sasuke is doing things we've never seen him do before, like using Naruto's hand to complete his hand signs. And while Naruto definitely is losing for the most part, just being able to keep up with the Sharingan user in hand-to-hand combat like this is pretty impressive. Right. Naruto even starts using his chakra arms in taijutsu like I mentioned he could earlier. He uses it to escape Sasuke's Inton, and then uses them to keep Sasuke at a distance after that. Throughout the taijutsu exchange as well, you can see Naruto trying to use the sign for shadow clones multiple times, but Sasuke just isn't letting him. He keeps canceling it out. Then at the end of the fight, Naruto and Sasuke engage in another taijutsu battle, but this is just sort of like a all-out brawl between two clearly fatigued people. It was, however, a nice move whenever Sasuke was using the Chidori on Naruto, and his Sharingan went out, and Naruto was able to notice and then land the meanest uppercut on Sasuke and send him flying into the cliffside. Now we can move on to Naruto versus the different Otsutsuki, mainly Momoshiki and Ishiki, because Naruto just tortures these guys in hand-to-hand combat. For both of these sections, I'm going to be sticking to the anime since both these fights in the manga lack any significant showing of skill and lack any sort of excitement in general. Naruto in his fight with Momoshiki was using Wing Chun. And I need to mention, I'm not going to explain this in depth because I'm not a martial arts expert, so describing all the different moves Naruto did is kind of beyond the scope of my capabilities. But if you look into it, quick Google search Naruto using Wing Chun on Momoshiki, you can find tons of information on it. It is worth noting though that Momoshiki is pretty good at taijutsu himself. He's shown pressing the Tenketsu points like how the 8 trigrams palm techniques work. Then versus Ishiki, Naruto is shown using a boxing style of fighting, absolutely just picking Ishiki apart. On both of these guys, Naruto can't use ninjutsu for one reason or another, so he gets to show his hand-to-hand prowess in its full form, and it just doesn't disappoint. Naruto's skill here is more like a show rather than tell, so from the clips in the back you can definitely see what I'm talking about here.
Yep. Yeah, it's I don't think there's any debate among fans that Naruto is one of the top taijutsu people in the show. In the past minute, have any galactic mind experts joined? You talking about Crimson? Is Crimson becoming a part of my content now? Is that like is this where we're at? Where one of my trolls? Oh God, we're back to panda days.
Oh
No. I don't want it. It was so peaceful, relatively. All right, you guys sent this in. Mirage, you still here? Mirage. Oh, Mirage.
Mirage.
Why you send me a link to look at and then leave, Mirage? Oh.
Man.
All right, let's check this
All right,
out.
go ahead and make your
Hey,
prediction
Twisted, we're talking about marine shit.
now. Who would win in a fight? 200 kung fu practitioners with melee weapons or one marine with a machine gun?
Oh, it was you? Okay.
Today we're talking about the most gangster marine ever. A man so remarkable that General Lejeune himself would declare him to be the most outstanding marine of all time. A man that was so fierce on the battlefield that General Smedley D. Butler, one of only 2 marines to ever receive the Medal of Honor twice, would declare him to be the fightingest marine he ever knew. Ladies and gentlemen, the only other marine to receive the Medal of Honor.
That's like a world championship boxer looking at another boxer fight and be like, I wouldn't fuck with that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fucking dope,
Yeah,
bro.
he's like, yeah.
Like,
Nope.
that's like Mike Tyson looking at someone throw hands and being like, oh, no, 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 no. Which, my understanding, such a boxer did exist.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but my understanding was, and I don't know boxing history intimately like some fucking conservative commentators, so, you know, you just gotta give me a break. But yeah.
Twice. Sergeant Major Dan Daly. Born in New York on November 11, 1873, Dan Daly would grow up competing as an amateur boxer as well as working as a paperboy. And while working as a paperboy might seem like the useless details you throw in at the beginning to humanize the main character, in this case it's anything but, because him working as a paperboy would create a butterfly effect through time that would change the US military as a whole. You see, you gotta remember that this is the late 1800s and information and news didn't spread the same way it does today, so working as a paperboy back then meant that he always got the newspaper, meaning that he had more information at his fingertips than 99% of the population. Because of this, he would be able to closely follow the exploits of future President Theodore Roosevelt and his famous Rough Riders all throughout the Spanish-American War. And this would go on to be his inspiration to join the US Marine Corps, hoping that he too would be able to fight in the Spanish-American War. So that's exactly what he would do on January 10th, 1899, when Dan Daly...
I have tested the picture and it's meh. The paid version might be more accurate. You'll have to post what you got in the Discord,
Yeah.
because I'm very interested in what you got and what you were trying to get.
He would enlist in the United States Marine Corps at the age of 16 years old, coming in at only 5'6" and 135 pounds. But hey, as the old adage goes, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight, it's about the size of the fight in the dog. You see, the real problem here wasn't his stature, but the fact that he joined to fight in the Spanish-American War, and the Spanish-American War ended on December 10th, 1898, exactly 1 month prior to his enlistment date, but the news hadn't spread that far yet, so he ships off to training anyways. So fast forward, he finishes up training, realizing the Spanish-American War's over, he's kind of like, meh, I mean, the Spanish got off lucky, can't help it. I mean, let's face it, I'm gonna get the action I'm looking for at some point, right? This is America. We've been a country for like 124-ish years at this point, and we've been not in armed conflict for all of like 45 seconds at this point. Surely, something...
Where's the lie, though?
Something's gonna pop up soon. So he ends up getting put on ship duty over in the Asiatic fleet on the USS Newark. And sure enough, like after a month of being there, the Boxer Rebellion breaks out, and guess whose ship is the closest one to be able to respond? Dan Daly. Alright, real quick, oversimplified explanation of what the Boxer Rebellion is in case you have absolutely no idea. At this point in time, China had really just been opened up to the rest of the world, and foreign influence is just flooding in. You have Western businesses going in there trying to make money. You've got Western governments going in there being like, hey, you guys want some democracy? And then you had missionaries going in there also trying...
That was... Yeah. Let's get that again.
And they're being like, hey, you guys want some democracy?
The zoom in. The deadpan delivery. The lean to the side. The delivery on that was immaculate,
Yes.
bro. Just
Great.
every little part, just nailed it.
And then you had missionaries going in there also trying to spread Christianity. And all of this influence came so fast, so quick, that a large portion of the Chinese population felt that it was too much, too soon, and they started to push back and started a nationalist movement. Part of this nationalist movement was a bunch of young men that practiced Kung Fu. Now, to somebody from the West, Kung Fu looks an awful lot like shadow boxing, so they just referred to these young men as boxers, hence the term Boxer Rebellion. These boxers got together, started their own little club called the Society of the Righteous and Harmonious Fist, and then proceeded to run around beating the shit out of and or killing every foreign diplomat, businessman, and missionary they could find. And it is at that point that killing
what?
every foreign fist, and then proceeded together, started their own little club called the Society of the Righteous and Harmonious Fist, and then proceeded to run around beating the shit out of and or killing every foreign diplomat, businessman.
Yup. Yeah.
Oh my god, so much of the Western media's mythologizing and stylizing of the Chinese makes sense now. Legitimate diplomatic incident.
Yep. Yep.
Oh man, that reputation is stuck with them in the fucking depictions of ninjas and shit forever now. Oh, we go around, kill you, haha. Howie Beezy Bounty Dog.
Oh my god, Jeremy.
Fortune cookie always wrong.
Oh my god, Jeremy. Oh my god.
Remember to write down the note with it.
Mhm.
Oh man.
And missionary they could find. And it is at that point that the Marines get sent in. So Private Daly and the rest of the Marines show up to Peking, China, which would later go on to become known as Beijing, the capital of China, at which point they promptly and immediately take over a large legation center on the southern border wall of the city, known as the Tartar Wall. They then gather up all the refugees they can find, get them inside the legation center, and set up a defensive perimeter. Things are going well, now we're just waiting for reinforcements. Problem, hours and hours go by, the reinforcements don't show up, and it's about to be dark out. So at this point, the Marine leadership's thinking like, hey, the reinforcements are definitely on the way, they wouldn't just leave us here, which means the reinforcements have gotten lost, because I mean, let's face it, if there was ever a time or a place where the directions of go to the giant building on the big fucking wall wasn't specific enough, it would be in China, right? I mean, they're known for their big ass walls, it's kind of their thing. So they're lost out there, we need to go find them before nighttime, otherwise they're gonna get ambushed by like 1,000 of these.
Just so you know, I thought you might have heard last night because I said it a dozen times after he said it. I've known it was you the whole time. You stayed incognito almost perfectly. Apparently, I was the only one who knew it was you.
Wow.
So, you had an inkling you didn't know. I was literally the only one who knew it was you, Panda. Hats off to you, man. You fooled them, buddy.
Yep. Now.
I was playing this little game in my head, and every time you started pandaing a little, I was like, hang on. Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna, this is gonna be the time. They're gonna know it's him. That's a very Panda question. It's even said the exact same way Panda would say it. And no one noticed but me. You changed enough to stealth, bro. You learned something, buddy.
Now, Mons. Get him.
Oh, God.
Yep, exactly.
Twisted's like, wait, Panda stomps over.
Oh my gosh.
Fucking Panda's like, wait. No, Twisted's like, wait. My panda sense is tingling.
Yep.
Wait, if you knew, Maru, if you knew, then me and you knew. If you knew, then me and you are the ones who knew. Yeah, that sounds pretty close to right. Well, let's see. You've been following since May.
May.
Yep, so that's June. Yep. Literally 2 months. I know, Maru. That's why. Yeah,
Due
Maru.
to the lack of reading.
Exactly. That's what tipped me off. He asked questions or phrased, and it wasn't just the questions too. Panda does this thing where he'll say like where it'll be loosely related to the video, and he'll just post this like block of opinion or block of take, and he's like, "What do you think of that?" And I'm like, "That's Panda." That's fucking Panda. It was the first time he did that, all doubts were assuaged. And I was like, oh, no, yeah, that has been Panda. I think he'd been here like 2 or 3 streams before I figured it out. And then he posted one of those fuckers, and I was like,
Yes.
that's Panda.
See.
Yes, Jim was Panda the whole time. The whole time, bro. I was waiting for someone to figure it out. Apparently, Gorps was the first person to figure it out of everyone. Well, excuse me. No, I figured it out. Gorps was next. Or I don't. Wait, Maru, when did you figure it out? Like roughly how long ago? Because you might have figured it out before Gorps. But yeah, of the people we know, it was me, then Gorps, / maybe then Maru. Which question? I don't fucking know, dude. It was like a month ago.
And no, we're not giving you an example so that you can
Fine tune.
try
Yeah,
and
fine tune your
figure.
skills further.
No.
Oh, God. That was a nice little. I like that rant. That was good.
Yep, he was discovered. Now he's gonna go full Panda, and you guys.
Here you are all equally worthless.
Discretion to do to him what you will.
Yep, he's here on pure grace right now. So
That's
yeah,
right.
the first inkling of a the first wisp of toxicity.
Yep.
A month and a half. He let on one of his questions. Yeah, a month and a half ago. Yeah, yeah. So you figured it out. You figured it out. Like 3-4 days after me, probably. Oh, I don't know what I'm looking around for. I was in just to distance myself. Oh man, he is getting craftier, Caitlin. Look at that. That was legitimate strategic thinking. Low level, but legitimate strategic thinking. Damn twisted.
Oh man.
What was I gonna look up?
I don't know.
Oh
You
wait,
tell
yeah,
me.
God's wisdom right there. Biblical wisdom. Do resist temptation. Ah!
Oh my god, Jeremy.
I knew. Again, my fingers have gone autistic.
Who knew?
For since he himself was tempted in that which he has suffered, he is able to come to the aid of those who are tempted. Hebrews 2:18. That's a beautiful one right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good. I understand why it's at the top. 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you, but such as is common to man. And God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with that temptation will provide the way of escape also, so that you will be able to endure it. You have not resisted to the point of shedding blood in your striving against sin. Ooh, that one's about condemning you for being too lackadaisical. That's a good one right there too. I like that.
You needed that.
Praise be to God.
We are here to help.
All right, back to the hilarious story, man.
I'm gonna go.
These kung fu guys.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Jeremy.
And they're all going to get killed. So we're all going to leave, go find the reinforcements, and come back. Private Daily, you're going to stand guard here by yourself. Now, I don't know what the logic was behind this. I don't know if it was like, fuck Private Daily, he's the new guy, he can have the shitty job, or if it was like, hey, Private Daily's a new guy, this mission's really dangerous, let's leave him here where it's safe. Or maybe they knew he was the main character and that he had plot armor. I have no idea. Either way, Private Daily is now effectively playing goalie for America for all of these refugees. So sure enough, like an hour after all the other Marines leave, hundreds of Boxer rebels show up and they're looking for a fight. Now, a couple of them have guns like muskets and stuff, really outdated weaponry. By and large, they're all carrying traditional Chinese martial arts weapons like swords, bow staffs, what have you. Some of them are even just rocking the old meat mittens, but they're looking for a fight either way. And this is shaping up to be one of the most ridiculous.
The old meat mittens. Yeah, there is. There's two reasons. One, like I said, I was playing a game. It was a game that you didn't know we were playing, but I was playing it. And it was, how long do I get to see Panda blending in with the crowd before he's exposed? And it took someone from another stream to expose you. So you did this isn't really a win or lose type game. We both were just kind of playing it like hopscotch. And you lasted a lot longer in that game than I expected. So, like I said, I'm legitimately sincere clapping. And then, and then the other part was, the longer you were in my chat, controlling your impulses and acting like a decent person, the more it was enforced upon you that, oh, if I just act in a way that's acceptable, I won't have a problem. That's why I did it, Panda.
Well, yeah.
That's why I did it.
Because contrary to your belief, we actually care about you as a person and want you to improve. That's the whole reason for instituting consequences, like the banning, because
you need Yeah, that's right. You're new to. Okay, so for the record, so that anyone who comes across this or who is here that's old, that's new, knows. Okay, Panda is like the OG troll of the stream.
Yeah.
He's been here, like from about 6 months in. He's been here. And he has gone from, it has been a roller coaster ride. He started off okay, he got progressively worse, and then his first ban happened. And then it was a roller coaster of interacting with him in DMs or in alt accounts he would make. I banned over 20 of his alt accounts. And it has just been a roller coaster ride of getting to know someone through a non-violent adversarial relationship. And so
Standard retard.
That's the story of our knowing each other.
Yeah, I know what you mean, like, to be perfectly honest.
Sick. That's funny. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. But to be perfectly honest, there for a minute I was like, I'm done.
Yep. Yeah. I know what it's like to not have anyone there to give you life lessons you need. I know what it's like to need someone to teach you a fucking lesson, but there's just no one there to do it.
Yep.
So I wanted to impart that lesson to you, Panda, if I could. It's an important lesson.
Yeah.
It's a really important lesson, and you got to take it to heart. Hey, if I just act in a way that's acceptable, people will talk to me.
Not from Amazing Atheist or
Secret says he's
that other
based.
dude or any of the regular people that you send us.
Yeah, none of the... Yeah, if you
No.
want me to debunk something, find something that's actually intelligent. I don't like listening to a string of fucking logical fallacies and being asked to debunk it. It's like, lie, non sequitur, straw man, debunked, boom. There's no challenge there. I don't know about a wildlife
one of the
mushroom.
UK's most eminent and trusted cardiologists, a man with an international reputation, Dr. Asim Malhotra, published peer-reviewed research that concluded that there should be a complete cessation of the administration of the COVID mRNA vaccines for everyone. This is clear and robust data of significant harms and little ongoing benefit.
Look, Aviator, I know you were trying to wax me for not telling you it was Panda. Look, man, I was trying to help the kid out, okay?
Ridiculous battles of all time. I mean, this is the type of stuff you get drunk at the bar and ask your buddy, like, hey, you think you could take on all 300 Spartans if you had a machine gun? Like, that's exactly what's about to go on here. I mean, in one corner, you've got an 18-year-old Marine with a machine gun, and in the other corner, you have 200 martial artists with, like, bow staffs and shit. You literally have gun fu versus kung fu, okay? And here's the kicker with the entire thing. The society
I love that. Gun fu versus kung fu. Who's gonna win?
of the righteous and harmonious fist legitimately and wholeheartedly believes that their martial arts training has made them impervious to bullets. Yeah.
Wow.
So
That scene.
It's iconic.
Yes.
It's iconic. And what makes it even more iconic, I've told this story before, but just to reiterate so anyone new might know, that was originally supposed to be a big cinematic, like, sword and whip fight with boxing and whip through, like, all kinds of fancy shit. It was originally supposed to be a big fight scene. The actor had dysentery.
Yep.
Indiana Jones had dysentery, real life. So he couldn't do all of that without shitting himself. So he was like, guys, I can barely film, let alone do a fight scene. I'm gonna shoot the fucker. And everyone was like, yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
You know what I think was the raw I-10 points in jargon E. The same point that would be obvious for you. Yes. Yeah. That's one of the main ones. There's like 3 signature things that give your monologue style or paragraph writing style away. There's like 3 things total that give it away, and that is one of them. He literally would drop a random wall of text asking for an opinion that was nothing to do with the topic. I love that, Kaylin. I saw he was the standard panda, but the total lack of hood really threw me off.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. That is Shakespearean.
No.
Oh. Well, here's the thing, Panda. You think you were on topic, and I understood the I understood the tangential or circumstantial relationship between the things. I kind of followed your leap in logic, but when you make those leaps in logic, a lot of people don't follow. So if the thing you ask is only very loosely related, not everyone's gonna immediately get the connection. So I caught them because I'm high in trait openness and intelligence. So I scanned through the possible connections very quickly, and I was like, that's why he's asking. But most people don't do that when they're having conversation, especially men. That's more of a female thing to do. Even if we are letting him stay, I reserve the right to abuse him mercilessly.
Feel free.
That's fair.
Now that you know.
I don't know about Panda loving me, but he certainly seems to love my content. And, fair enough. Whatever his feelings about being here are, I really just wanted him to start acting right. It was never anything personal. So, yeah.
This entire horde of kung fu fighters just starts running at Daly as fast as they can as he opens fire with his machine gun,
gross.
and they fight well into the night. The rest of the Marines were a couple miles away. They found the reinforcements, but now it's too dark for them to travel in this rioting city at night safely, so they've adopted a little defensive position, and they're just holding position until daylight. They're literally forced to just sit there and listen to the machine gun fire and the yelling and the screaming and machine gun fire, and then suddenly the machine gun runs out of ammo, and then there's bolt-action rifle fire, bolt-action rifle fire. He gets the machine gun reloaded. There's more machine gun fire, and this goes on for hours, and then it progressively just gets slower, and there's less machine gun fire and less screaming and less machine gun fire and less screaming, and then suddenly it just stops. At this point, the Marines have to accept the fact that their friend has just died courageously in battle, fighting an entire mob by himself because they left him alone, and all the civilians that they've been tasked with protecting are going to be slaughtered. And now all they can do is sit there and wait for the sun to come up. So the sun comes up, and the Marines start making their way back to the legation center, but they're kind of dragging their feet because, well, they know what they're going to find. They're really just there to recover the remains of Private Daly and make sure that those are taken care of, and they start making their way there, and as they get closer, they're like, man,
Dodgeball.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, where the dude's all like whale size again. I was supposed to win that tournament, and then he makes his titties dance. That shit right there was the modern truffle shuffle, and people totally missed that moment in cinema history.
Oh my god.
It's because they tucked it away in the credits.
Private Daly really took out a lot of these guys. That's impressive. And they get closer and like, holy shit, he took out a ton of these guys. This is the most aerodynamic mass grave I've ever seen. And they get to the top of the wall, and there's Private Daly smoking his pipe, leaning up against his machine gun, and they're like, holy shit, you made it. He's like, yeah, why wouldn't I? Well, we heard the machine gun stop firing, and we just assumed that you'd been killed. He's like, no. I only quit firing because they quit coming. Dan Daly has effectively pulled off the impossible.
No. I only quit firing because they stopped coming. That's lovely.
Yes.
Oh. No, I didn't even tell Kate in private. There was one time where I was like this close. I literally started saying the sentence to tell her, but then I was like, if she knows, she'll ask me to ban him. And so I just kept it under the rug. It's not a lie. I just didn't say anything. Love you. I'm in trouble. Go to timestamp around 35 seconds. Okie dokie. We need the come on video when she said, where is... and reduce. Oh yeah. Why do we need that though? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
this one.
hope you're all happy now. Don't make me think. I just want to be entertained. All right, fine. You want a little something for the ride home? Check these boots out for size.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I'd have to charge. What the boys go crazy for? They lose their mind. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I'd have to charge.
You happy? Fatty make a funny?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah. That, the very same. What the fuck am I looking at? You can't tell me this beat is dead. You know you love it, Kristen. It's wobbling? Lurking? Nice. No, it's not Twisted. This is music. This is music for a madman. Which is why I love it. Oh, man. You can't hear me? Try reloading. Can anybody, isn't anybody else's sound down? What the fuck?
Ladies.
Okay, one of you shared something. Oh. We already did that one. No, not today. We're not doing politics today.
Single-handedly defeated 200 rebels by himself, saving all of the civilians as well as saving the dead. All the Marines are like, holy shit, we're going to nominate this guy for the Medal of Honor because this is incredible. All the businessmen and the delegates are like, oh my god, we've seen what one Marine can do, and now we've got 1,200 Marines. We're definitely going to make it out of this alive. Hooray. And all the missionaries are like, oh my god, this is not what we meant when we said we wanted to make these people more holy. Shortly after this, Dan Daly would be awarded his first Medal of Honor for the battle, and then he would go on to continue.
The rental company for one of the places I was looking at, they said that, they sent a thing, and they said it's available for showing now, which, I mean, we can't do that right now, but they said, you get half off, second month of rent. If we were to go ahead and do that.
Let your mom know.
Yeah.
serving in the Marine Corps as if nothing had happened. Okay, fast forward 15 years, now Gunnery Sergeant Daly has been involved in every military conflict the US has for the past 2 decades. He is one of the most experienced combat veterans in the entire US military, and he is a living legend in the Marine Corps. And on October 24th of 1915, Gunnery Sergeant Daly would find himself leading a platoon of men through Haiti during the Cocos Rebellion. Just after his entire company would cross a river, his entire company would be attacked on all 3 sides by over 400 Cocos rebels, forcing them to retreat back into the river. And while doing so, the horse carrying the crew-served machine gun would be shot and sink to the bottom of the river, as the remaining Marines continued to cross the river before adopting a defensive position to repel the attack until nightfall. It is now pitch black outside, and Gunnery Sergeant Daly knows as soon as the sun comes up, they are going to get attacked again, and the only chance they have is to get that machine gun back from the bottom of the river. So he takes off by himself in the dark of night, goes all the way back to the river, and just begins diving to the bottom of the river, trying to find this dead horse with the machine gun strapped to it. And after hours of trying, he finally finds this horse, manages to go down, untie the machine gun, come back up for air, go back down again, getting pieces, ammunition, the gun itself, the tripod. He gathers up all of this stuff, gets it out of the river, and then straps it to his back and carries it back to his men. Bear in mind, that is over 200 pounds of equipment, and this guy is 5'6", 135 pounds, but he gets it done anyways. Now, Marines believe in a couple things when it comes to a gunfight. Number 1, bring a gun. Number 2, bring friends with guns. Number 3, decide to be aggressive enough, quickly enough. If you're not picking up what I put down, I'm trying to tell you that he is not about to use this machine gun for self-defense. He's about to use this machine gun for self-offense. First thing in the morning, he gets his men together. They launch an attack first, scattering the enemy into the jungle, retreating, and Daly has effectively saved himself and all of his men, earning himself his 2nd Medal of Honor. Fast forward 2 years, June 1st, 1917, it's World War I, and Daly is now a 1st Sergeant, leading an entire platoon of young, inexperienced Marines into the Battle of Belleau Wood. If you don't know the Battle of Belleau Wood, the Germans are just rampaging through France, making a beeline right towards Paris, and at Belleau Wood, the US Army, the Marine Corps, the French Army, and the British Army all get together to stop the German military in their tracks. Now, this made it not only a strategic battlefield, but a symbolic battlefield, because how dare you stop the mighty German military? Now they're going to hit back twice as hard just to prove that it was a fluke. Because of this, right after they stopped the German military on June 1st, the French military is like, okay, we stopped them, let's take the W and head back to Paris and we'll fight from there. We don't want to get slaughtered in this wood line by the Germans because they're pissed. And it is at this point that the Marine leadership famously responded by saying, and I quote, "Retreat? Hell, we just got here." And then the Marine Corps pretty much dons their gas masks, fixes bayonets, and proceeds to fight their ass off for the next 26 days straight. Okay, here's what I need you to understand. On paper, the Marine Corps should absolutely not win this fight. They are both outnumbered and outclassed. The German military is one of the most veteran fighting militaries on the planet at this point in time, and the Marine Corps is primarily comprised of a bunch of 18-year-old kids that have never seen combat. However, leading those 18-year-old kids is a bunch of fucking badasses like Dan Daly. Okay, this video started with him being a paperboy from New York. He is now a 45-year-old man with 2 Medals of Honor that has been in the Marine Corps since he was 16 years old. This man is a grizzled veteran that has been there, done that, and has a t-shirt, and he is about to don his plot armor and fuck shit up. So the Battle of Belleau Wood kicks off on June 1st. Pretty much immediately, 1st Sergeant Daly's lieutenant gets shot, and he is now out of the fight, okay? Okay, if you don't know what that means, the officer is the one guy on the battlefield that sorta kinda pretends like he gives a fuck, and he is now gone. The regulator is off the war machine, and 1st Sergeant Dan Daly is now in charge of his entire company, unopposed. Fast forward, June 5th, German artillery strikes the ammunition depot, lighting everything on fire. Dan Daly leads his entire platoon in, sets the fire out, prevents all the ammunition from exploding, saves the entire battle. Fast forward 5 days, June 10th, the German machine gun squad would try to advance on Daly's company. Daly would get up by himself with nothing but 3 frag grenades and his Colt 1911, using the 3 grenades to disable the machine gun before approaching, shooting their commanding officer, killing him, and taking the other 14 Germans as prisoners of war. Fast forward a couple of hours, still June 10th, Dan Daly looks around at the faces of the young men that he's leading through this battle, and they're looking tired. They're looking like this is the worst time of their life, and it is at this point that Dan Daly decides that he needs to get aggressive enough quickly enough. This battle's effectively been a stalemate for the last 10 days, and he's had enough of this bullshit, so he gets up, walks right out into the open in this wheat field that's functioning as no man's land between the Marines and the Germans. He looks at the Germans' line, turns around, looks at his Marines, and yells, "Come on, you sons of bitches, do you want to live forever?" before charging at the German line. All of his Marines, that's Dan fucking Daly, were gonna follow him, so they charged too. In an act of pure hyper-aggression, Dan...
That's beautiful. Come on, motherfuckers, do you want to live forever?
Nice.
That's about the most badass action hero line you're ever gonna hear in real life. God, that is fucking immaculate. If this guy had taught me history, I'd know way more history. Fuck.
Well, Jimmy,
Hmm.
the only thing holding us up is not having a date.
Mm.
So,
Guys, behind,
can't
yes,
apply
we
for
want...
anything.
Yes, we want to live forever. Well, you know how you live forever, password? In a story.
Yep.
That's how you live forever. Your body's never going to do it. You want to live forever in this world? Only way to do that is through a story. If you want to live forever in actuality, praise Jesus.
Daly's company would catch the Germans off guard and would actually manage to punch through their line, causing all the other Marines to become hyper-aggressive and attack as well, effectively setting off a chain reaction that would lead to the Marine Corps pushing the Germans all the way out of Bellawood over the course of the next 16 days, where on June 26, American High Command would receive a single telegram, and I quote, "Woods, now Marine Corps entirely," giving America its first win in World War I and the Marine Corps its new moniker. Due to the blatant hyper-aggression of the Marines, the Germans began calling them the Teufelhunden, or the Devil Dogs. And it's all because of the actions of First Sergeant Dan Daly. After the Battle of Bellawood, Daly would continue to serve throughout World War I until on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, the Germans would surrender, effectively ending World War I, which is why in America we celebrate Veterans Day on November 11th, which is also, by sheer coincidence, I'm sure, Dan Daly's birthday. The guy's the main character. I don't know what to tell you. So then, because Dan Daly was like the badass at the Battle of Bellawood, he gets put up for yet another Medal of Honor, potentially becoming the first man in American history to pull off the Medal of Honor hat trick, getting the three-peat. Absolutely everybody that was there that day all signs off on it. His men, his chain of command, they do the paperwork, they send it off to DC to get this man his medal. Then the political side is like, no, absolutely not. We don't care if he earned it or not. It's not about getting what you deserve. It's about doing what we think is fair, and we don't think it's fair that he should get 3 medals of honor, so we're just not going to give it to him because we said so. Go fuck yourself. So instead, they go ahead and they give him the Distinguished Service Cross and the Navy Cross, which, if you don't know, both of those are like tied for the second highest military honor, because apparently second plus second equals first, I guess. Anyways, so he gets those instead. And then, bear in mind, this is 1919, right after World War I. Like a month later in 1919, the military creates a new law that you're only allowed to earn 1 Medal of Honor. Okay, Dan Daly is so fucking gangster, they literally had to change the rules on how many times you're allowed to achieve the highest honor in the military. After World War I, he would retire as a sergeant major, having turned down becoming a commissioned officer on multiple occasions, citing that he would rather be an outstanding sergeant than just another officer. He would then go on to work as a bank security guard, where for 17 years he would be the living embodiment of the world's shittiest lottery ticket for anybody dumb enough to try to rob that bank. Could you imagine just being some bank robber trying to get some quick cash and you run into the most gangster Marine of all time? Okay, I'm just gonna throw it out there. He didn't retire from being a bank security guard until 1936, and John Dillinger's bank robbing spree was from 1933 to 1934. So for a couple of years there was a significantly greater than 0% chance that the world almost got the ultimate clash of the bank robbing gangster and the most gangster Marine to ever live. And I'm gonna go ahead and write that down in my book as the coolest thing to never actually happen. In conclusion, Mark Twain is frequently accredited with the famous quote, "It's not about the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog," when in reality it wasn't Mark Twain that said that first. It was actually Dwight D. Eisenhower, 5-star Army general and the 34th president of the United States, somebody that would have known good and well who Sergeant Major Dan Daly was. And I think that maybe, just maybe, he had that 5'6", 135-pound devil dog on his mind when he came up with that quote. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out. I cannot believe that my favorite character from Starship Troopers is actually based off Dan Daly, and I had no idea.
Come on, you ape!
You want to live forever? I expect the best, and I give the best. Here's the beer.
Here's the beer. I just came up with a great idea for an essay while we were watching the end of that, guys. This one's gonna piss some people off. Yep, that one's gonna piss some people off. I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna legitimately make that an essay. Spotify, what the fuck is this? Why is Zack shirtless? Because I be that way, homie. Whether it changes your relationship with the community is completely up to you. There is no immorality, but the memory that is left in the minds of men. To have lived without glory, without leaving a trace of one's existence, is not to have lived at all. Yeah. Yep, I agree, Maru. It's a great quote. I didn't know that was I'd never heard that. I think I've heard this rephrased maybe, but yeah, that's a great quote from Napoleon there. Yes, probably. You're the only one who does that. Yep. Devil Dogs. Ah, yeah, this is a good band. Sabaton. I have these guys pop up while I'm at the gym sometimes. Let's see if I heard this one. Hang on, we'll go someplace where I can actually listen to it. Sabaton, Devil Dogs. Sabaton, Devil Dogs. I've not heard this one. I would listen to it, but we're live on YouTube right now, and YouTube is really anal about music. So if I listen to it for too long, they'll kill my feed over there. You're the only one who does that. Okay.
Well, I mean, nobody's.
I was just looking at it. Said there were side. At least no one's chatting, but it said we had viewers. And I want the VOD to be. I don't want the VOD to have a big blank spot in it either. I wonder if. I think Tom McDonald allows reactions, so they shouldn't cut the feed for this.
My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags.
Yo, that was a dope, bro.
American flags. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. I ain't never gonna pretend that I give a damn. Anybody who's offended, come get it, we throwing hands. Anybody not trying to make America great again. You a punk, you a clown, better know where I stand. I'm the white boy with the middle fingers in the air, dog. We don't give a fuck. 100 white boys gonna hold me down anywhere, dog. We think that you suck.
Channel.
Yo, welcome to the adventure. Choke.
Imagine Grumple owning an Abrams would be majestic. Yeah, welcome to the adventure, Choke. Sorry, my brain briefly blue screened while I was reading chat. My name is Zack. That's the wife, Kate. We're just.
I like your name.
Why do you? What's cool? Choke Tanky.
Yes.
That for some reason that reminded me of that line "Kill Whitey" from Black Sheep. Imagine if instead he just been like "Choke Tanky."
Welcome to the adventure.
No, his name is Chokey. Not Chunky. His name is Chokey. He's Chokey McTankerstein.
Oh my gosh.
Chokey McTankerstein.
My patriots, the craziest, they ain't afraid of breaking fists on faces. If you really wanna taste of this, no safety tip, just aim the stick and spray the clip. I pray you miss, cause if you don't, they gon' go wacko. Automatic gun smoke like tobacco. Never hit a lady, but it's pretty hard to tell if you're a girl or a they, them, there's these, that, those. I ain't never gonna take a knee for the anthem, smack them. I don't give a damn, can't stand them. Gang full of randoms, fan with a handgun. Run up in your mansion, leave it all abandoned. I was raised to be brave, to the grave, United States. We love the country that they've been corrupting, go woke and go broker if you ain't awake. My people love this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags.
Way too hard.
American flags. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American
Got that
flags.
AKA all Draco, leave you stankin', break your ankles. I'm not hearing what you saying, hit the pavement, now you seeing angels. It get dangerous, go against the Patriots, got all the bangers. Take a look inside my closet, you gon' see way more than hangers. Hammers like I do construction, ammo, I'ma shoot at something. Why you think we own these guns so we could just go do some hunting? You must not pay close attention, government, they want division. Only treason if you lose, I guarantee we come out winning. Let my flag fly high like
I love that. I love that. It's only treason if you lose. That shit. I love that shit. Look, dog, it's only treason if we lose, bruh.
Nice.
I think our own tags too. No shit.
Cause I would die for all my people. You can't change me with procedures. I'm about freedom, you about evil. Leave you hanging from the ceiling like chandeliers in cathedrals. Never have the safety on, and when we run out, we just reload.
My people love this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags. American flags. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. Every time we pull up, you see stars, you see stripes, you see flags on the cars and the trucks and the bikes. Every time we pull up, we go hard, we outside, we got flags on our arms that are tatted there for life.
Every time we pull up, we don't care if you mad. We cherish this land, the haters can't get buried in rags. They set fire to old glory, turning fabric to ash.
But every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags. American
This is
flags.
undeniably one of the most patriotic songs.
And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags.
That is undeniably on the list of most patriotic songs ever made. God, my nipples are hard. Fantastic.
It's great.
But the barrel needs a plug-in breech welded. That it will not count as tractor. Well, because if you plug and breech weld the barrel of a tank, you can't use it as a tank anymore, bro. I mean, it's at that point it would be really hard to restore that barrel to fighting condition, if you can at all, depending on how they do it. I'm not sure. So, yeah, I would not say it counts as a tractor. It is a tractor at that point, because a tank without guns is a big, heavy tractor. Buys new barrel in pieces. Good luck buying a tank barrel. Let me know when you have that kind of cash, bro. I have an investment opportunity you might be interested in. What's this?
I might get cancelled for this one. What do you call a gender neutral person that is lactose intolerant?
Go on.
Non-binary.
Non-binary.
That's not funny.
No, it is.
Fuck, oh, yeah, give me.
Non-binary?
Yeah, no, I did.
That's comedy gold.
I did like that.
Non-binary.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that is humorous. I could show you the world.
Oh shoot! It's almost 11, baby. You know, you might want to hit the road before it gets too late.
I know, but I just want to stay here and cuddle with you.
Totally. I mean, you know how much I love when we cuddle.
Honestly, it might just be easier if I sleep over and then just stop at my place on the way to work tomorrow.
You think?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I mean, if that's okay with you.
Oh, obviously it's okay with me. Of course it is.
Okay, yay.
Although, shoot, I totally forgot. I have to get up really early tomorrow for work. So darn it. You know what? Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think we can do this.
Oh, well, how early do you have to wake up?
How early do you have to get up?
Yeah.
6.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Sorry, I didn't mean 6. I meant 5. 4:45. 4:45. I have to get up at 4:45.
Wow, that is early.
It's so early, and so it sucks because you know I don't want to have to wake you up that early.
Well, I could just keep sleeping.
Well, yeah, I mean you could, but then who's gonna lock the door? Because remember I only have one house key. So.
Yeah, but you never lock your door.
Well, yeah, but that was before. Now I do.
Before what?
Before the crimes. There's been a lot of criminals around this neighborhood lately. Yeah.
What type of criminals?
What type of criminals? Clowns. Yeah. Remember when there was all those creepy clowns who were popping up in like parking lots and at schools and whatnot, freaking everyone out?
Yeah.
Well, apparently they're back.
Well, that's terrifying.
Yeah, super terrifying. And so, because I don't want to have to wake you up at 4:45 a.m. and I gotta lock the door because of the clowns. And yeah, so it's a total bummer. But unfortunately, I think you gotta leave now. I think you should probably leave now.
Do you not want me to spend the night?
What? No.
Because you could just say that, it's fine.
No, of course I want you to sleep over. You kidding me?
You really do?
Yeah.
You know what I love about this? It's you know that line in the acting where it's like, this is right on the line between I can tell she's acting and this is real. You know that line? Yeah. What I love about their skits is they always are right on that line.
Yeah.
That is literally the mode they do comedy in. And I'm just like, I'm not sure whether this is part of the bit or whether they're just not as good at actors as they would maybe want to be. But either way, it works for some reason.
Yeah, no, I love when you sleep over. I love when you spend the night, so we can stay up late talking about every little thought that pops into that cute little head of yours, or watching all of the TikTok videos that you've liked so that, I can give you my own personal review, and waking up really sweaty in the morning because you don't like air conditioning, and because even though I have a king-size bed, for some reason you just love to sleep and cuddle on top of me the whole night with that 140-degree body you got of yours. I love that. I love when you spend the night.
Okay, good.
Okay, well, drive safe and text me when you get home.
Shit.
What?
I forgot my glasses.
Oh no, do you need them?
Yeah, I'm night blind. I can barely see the road without them.
Oh, darn. Oh, God. I think you'll be fine. The human body is so good at adapting to stressful situations, so...
I mean, I hope that's true.
Okay, well, drive safe and text me when you get home, right?
Aren't you gonna walk me to my car?
Why? It's right outside.
I don't know, because of the clowns?
Sorry. Don't worry about them. Remember, they're more scared of you than you are of them, okay?
Okay. See ya.
Oh my god. He's gonna put clown makeup on. Ah!
The board. The board. The board, Jeremy.
We're back.
Gosh.
Oh man. That's a new direction for them. They do not usually go in a direction of that particular sort.
Yeah, but I like that you got that though. Like, let me, you know.
They're doing something new.
I know what he's gonna do.
He's gonna put on some clown makeup. Yuck. Nice. Oh, just a serial killer. Never mind. If I ever have 44K, I can buy legally a tank based on a T-55 hull. You're a Terminator?
What?
To keep them busy while I take a piss.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Hi guys. Oh man. Yeah. That is definitely a new direction for them for sure. Oh man. What is this? The real reason dogs lick you is disgusting. Any news about the cookbook? I am compiling it of what the best things are going to be to put in there. I think like I said, I'm going to do a just like chocolate cake. You think I should put a chocolate cake in there? Plus it'll be a lot easier to oh no, not ads, oh no. But it'll be a lot easier to be able to put the cookbook and stuff together once we get moved out of here and I have an actual kitchen. Because doing that kind of stuff and being able to take proper photos here is very difficult because the lighting down there is trash. So
Alright.
Yep.
I wanted to check out some Major Kill because we haven't checked out any of his stuff in forever.
G'day guys and gal. It's hard to think of the Primarchs as children. They are big-ass demigods wielding otherworldly power with the will to reshape the galaxy, forged by the greatest mind to ever live. But they didn't just pop out as fully grown war gods. They started as babies, had extremely brief childhoods due to their accelerated growth, and then the rest is history. But despite the briefness of their childhoods, they were still quite interesting because it was the only time a Primarch was truly vulnerable, and that is worth talking about. Also, if you like this video's thumbnail, that being the lion fighting a lion, I had it custom commissioned just for this video, so make sure you like the video to justify the impracticality of commissioning dope-ass artwork to use as a thumbnail. Before we get started, the best part of what I do is the fact that even though I talk about Warhammer lore, I'm still able to have a positive impact on some people's lives. My favorite DMs are from people who send me before and afters of them losing weight and putting on muscle because they were inspired by me. It's a nice feeling. So I'm going to extend that vibe out again today with the help of today's sponsor, HelloFresh. Years before HelloFresh reached out to me, I was already a customer. In my health video, I literally mentioned that I wish they sponsored me, as this pile of paper is how many HelloFresh meals I've cooked and ate. Each piece of paper is 2 meals worth of food. I'm a slut for them. The reason why they're so great is because they send you the recipes and ingredients for a week's worth of food, with the food having great macro and micronutrients for fitness and health, whilst also being incredibly gourmet and delicious. I'm not a chef, but with HelloFresh I can cook better food than I get in restaurants within only half an hour. So you're saving time, getting better food, saving money, reducing food waste, learning how to cook, and getting more jacked. Abs are made in the kitchen, baby. With all that in mind, there's literally no reason to not at least try it. Especially since using my link and code POGMAJORJULE50, you'll get 50% off your first box and free shipping. To add even more spice to the pot, I actually get a very juicy commission off each box that you guys order, so it's literally wins all round for me, you, and HelloFresh. Cheers to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. Today we'll go over how each Primarch spent their brief but important childhoods to understand why they ended up like they did. Let's get into it. The Lion's childhood was more difficult than most Primarchs. His landing capsule smashed into the middle of bumfuck nowhere, deep in the forests of Caliban, where many chaos-corrupted monsters lurked. Lil Tarzan didn't let this stop him though, as his hunter's instinct kicked in. Although he spent the first little while hiding, it wasn't long until he began hunting the beasts, killing them with his bare hands. Thus the thumbnail. The lion managed to survive like this for some time before being discovered by Luther during one of his legendary nightly quests into the forest. They saw that despite the dirt, grit and savagery, there was a noble, intelligent child before them, hence they took him in. Within a short span, the lion had mastered the local language and was able to shake off most of the worst habits he had gained. He never lost the beast within him though, a beast he has used to great effect on multiple occasions, but his nightly training allows him to tame it and keep it caged. It's a huge testament to the lion's will that despite spending his childhood surrounded by chaos beasts, he not only survived, but was also not corrupted himself. There is a strong correlation between Primarchs with bad childhoods and Primarchs that go traitor, but the lion breaks this mold. The second Primarch's childhood is about as interesting as shoving a pencil
Actually get to meet Granny.
down your dick hole.
She's completely lucid now. Well, she's having a lot more.
Just don't really know. Fulgrim's childhood was like a little arcade game for him. He crash-landed on a dying world where everyone worked, everything was scarce, and there was no time for the finer things. Initially, the people that found him thought about killing him due to lack of resources. However, his beauty and Primarch aura prevented them, hence they adopted him instead. He was shown love, but with the world on the brink of ecological collapse, he put his fierce intelligence, even as a child, to improving the world's systems, machinery, and techniques, allowing the world to go from a wasteland to a paradise. With how efficient everything became, it allowed time for Fulgrim to bring the arts back to the world and enjoy them with his people, but by that point he was no longer a child. Overall, his childhood was spent on the grind, preventing his world from collapsing. Perturabo's childhood was fucking whack. He came into consciousness halfway up a mountain. He didn't know how he got there, but he knew that he must climb to the top. He finished the climb where he was then taken to see one of the lords of the planet, who would go on to adopt Perturabo. But wait a fucking minute, Major Kill. How did Perty come into consciousness halfway up a mountain? Well, it seems that before that, he landed in the wilderness, wandered around for a year, killed some bears and shit, before then deciding to climb a mountain, and it was halfway up this mountain when his brain aged enough to become self-aware. Think of it like your first memory. The Lord was very impressed with Perturabo, with Perty spending the rest of his childhood excelling in science, engineering, combat, politicking, and more. The Khan's initial childhood was quite wholesome as he was found and adopted by a wise Khan, who wished for there to be peace amongst the warring tribes. Jagadai was shown a lot of
Hey, what's up, Grumpo? I hope you're having a fantastic day, bro. Welcome in. What is this? Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah. We can pick some low-hanging fruit off this guy. And you know it's gonna be low-hanging by looking at him.
And was taught a lot, but soon after his father was killed in a raid by a rival Khan. In a rage, a young Jagadai gathered his tribe's warriors and obliterated the rival tribe, killing every man, woman and child, full Anakin style. He vowed to end the tribal wars and unite his world, either through diplomacy or violence. So overall, a good childhood that rapidly ate shit after his adoptive father was killed. Fenris is, to put it gently, a massive shithole. It's one of the most grim death worlds in the entire Imperium, so a great spot for Leman Russ to land. He was found and adopted by a wolf and her pack, which goes a long way to explaining his obsession with wolves. Alongside the pack, he would raid Fenrisian villages, which caused a large hunting party of humans to track down and attack his pack. His wolf mama was killed, however Lehman was able to protect 2 of his wolf brothers before the fighting stopped and he was taken to see the local king. The king was impressed with Lehman, seeing him in a similar way that Luther saw the lion. Within a short span of time, Lehman mastered the language, the weapons of war, and the culture of Fenris, leading his tribe to victory after victory as they conquered the entire planet.
Why is everything gotta be diesel with you, Grumple?
When his king/adoptive father died, Lehman took control of Fenris, but by this point he was no longer really a child. Overall, he spent his youth as an adoptive wolf and then learning how to not be a wolf. Rogel Dawn had less of a spicy survival youth compared to some of his brothers. He was quickly found and adopted by the leader of House Dawn, which meant he received a structured, educated youth, where he was taught everything the people of Inwit knew. As Inwit was a pretty brutal place, I'm sure Rogel spent some time on the ice, testing himself and taking on its predators, but this would have been more so for sport and education than actual survival. He enjoyed his childhood so much that when his adoptive grandfather passed away, Dawn kept his cloak and slept with it every night for comfort. No wonder why Rogel was such a loyalist with that kind of wholesome upbringing. On the flip side of wholesomeness, we have Conrad Curse's extremely shitty childhood. Straight up, his capsule plunged deep within Nostromo's crust, meaning he had to crawl his way through jagged rock and magma as a literal toddler as his first conscious act. From there, things got worse as the world he crawled into literally plunged deep within Nostromo's crust, meaning he had to crawl his way through jagged rock and magma as a literal toddler as his first conscious act. From there, things got worse as the world he crawled into was full of murderers and rapists. Conrad learnt to hide and stick to the shadows, stealing and scavenging to survive with no one to trust and no one to take care of him. As soon as he was grown enough to reliably kill anyone on Nostromo, he changed role from prey to the predator, beginning his reign of terror as the Night Haunter. But his entire childhood was spent in the shitter, which goes a long way to explain him being such a massive asshole. Surprisingly, considering how great Sanguinius is, he didn't really have the best childhood. He's just fucking great because he's Sanguinius. He landed in the irradiated wastelands of Baal, where his first notable act as a toddler was to kill a fire scorpion, a deadly Baal predator. From there, he was found and adopted by one of the only non-mutated human tribes on Baal. As a youth, he was able to lead his people against the large mutant hordes, cleansing it and reclaiming the world for mankind. Or at least the mankind that wasn't a bunch of psychotic, cancer-ridden mutants. Not the most spicy childhood, but considering he was seen as a literal god messiah by his adoptive people, he is very humble. Ferrus Manus lacked a good childhood and he isn't mad about it. What he was mad about was the fact that his landing on Medusa freed a mechanical beast that he was unable to kill. Most likely a Necron construct, so he vowed to keep himself isolated from the planet's population until he fulfilled his vow and destroyed the beast. People knew of him as a legend that would take on the greatest challenges on the planet, be it monsters or physical tests, until he was finally able to destroy the beast, absorbing a fair bit of its material into himself in the process, thus his silver eyes and living metal arms. By this point though, he had grown to a man, with his childhood spent by himself, fighting monsters. Probably explains why he's such a hothead. He literally never had a mentor or teacher until the Emperor arrived. The 11th Primarch didn't have a childhood as he was aborted. The only Primarch that could contest Conrad for Shittiest Childhood of the Year award is Angron. Upon landing on Nuceria, he was ambushed by an Eldar kill squad. The toddler Angron was able to kill the Elder, which, yeah, that's pretty fucking nuts, but he suffered a lot of wounds in return. He was so wounded in fact that he was easy pickings for the local humans to capture him and bring him to the High Riders. Unfortunately, the High Riders didn't see a talented youth who they could adopt and raise up. Instead, they saw a vicious child, covered in wounds and blood, who had just taken out an alien kill team. They saw a warrior, a new legend for their arenas. If it wasn't for the Elder attack, Angron probably would have been able to beat the Slavers, or at the very least, get adopted by the High Riders. Angron would spend the rest of his childhood in the arena, fighting other slaves until he was forcibly violated with the butcher's nails. Fucking grim. At the literal polar opposite end of the spectrum, Gilliman's childhood was extremely good. He was found and adopted by one of the ruling families of Macragge, who showed him love, attention, and taught him how to be a good man and a good ruler. It was probably the most functional and fulfilling childhood out of all the Primarchs, bar maybe Magnus or Rogel. At age 10, he was given command of his own army, which he used to effectively wipe out the savages and raiders in the forests. Funnily enough, Conor, Gilliman's father, received a vision of the Emperor showing him where to find Gilliman, so there's a good chance the Emperor directly intervened to ensure G-Man had a good childhood, as opposed to him being found by the forest raiders, who would have in turn turned him into a weapon against civilization. This was one of the few instances of the Emperor's direct intervention of his Primarch's childhoods. If only he did that for Conrad. Back to shitty childhoods, we have Mortarion, who was found by a tyrannical psychic necromancer. Although Morty was adopted and trained by this man, it was not a good childhood. The lessons were grim, with Morty being forced to use dark warp powers, as well as being forced to live in and endure the poisonous gases of his homeworld. Sick of his Necro Daddy shit, Mortarion broke free and went into the valley, killing Necro Daddy zombies as well as some of the other psychic tyrants on the world. It was here the young Mortarion became a hero to the untainted humans, spending the rest of his childhood protecting them before he was grown enough to start hunting down the vicious tyrants of the world. Honestly seems like quite the hero's origin story. Shame he became a smelly moth. Magnus had a great childhood, landing in the middle of the main plaza in Prospero's capital. He was found and raised by wise psychers who tutored him in the arcane arts and took care of him. In turn, Magnus was able to learn extremely quickly, outstripping the greatest psychers of Prospero within a very short span of time. Magnus was unique in that he remembered his entire childhood, from literal creation onwards, and he was able to psychically commune with the Emperor while he was still in his gestation capsule. So Magnus was very aware of his nature and who his father was. Overall, his vast knowledge ended up making him incredibly arrogant with his use of the warp, something that would fuck him pretty hard in the ass later on. Horus's childhood is a bit confusing. We know he landed on Chthoniya and then he was adopted by a gang and did gang shit, but it wasn't long until he became aware of his Primarchness and travelled back to Terra, meaning he was actually with the Emperor as he went from child to adult, thus explaining a lot about their close relationship. Since Chthoniya and Terra are close together, this isn't that difficult to imagine. With Horus spending very little time on Chthoniya, he actually had to force himself to speak with a Chthonian gang accent to relate to his Chthonian-born Space Marines better. Some of them could even tell the accent was fake. Lorga's childhood was pretty grim. He was found by Corferon, a hyper-religious, cruel man, who then proceeded to abuse the shit.
We are watching a summary of the childhood of each Space Marine Primarch from Warhammer 40k. Morty, you bitter bitch. He had a shitty reason. Right, he tried to kill his dad. Yeah, I know. So he became... the Emperor saved him and killed his dad. Yep. Yep, I agree. Where my bio dad killed my adoptive dad before I could. I'm gonna destroy the world about it. It's like, yeah, it's pretty dumb. Right. I agree. Although, to be fair, there is the compounding factor. There is the compounding factor of Nurgle infecting all of his sons. And him, you know, I think the real reason that he would say he rebelled was to save his legion from Nurgle. Which, ironically, that's what caused them to be captured by Nurgle for all eternity, or at least until Nurgle is killed. So I was right. Yep, Warhammer 40k.
Out of Lorgar, beating him regularly and constantly insulting and demeaning him. It's actually a huge testament to Lorgar that he was a good bloke until Chaos got involved, considering how fucked up his childhood was. GW's greatest crime is that Corferon is still alive in the setting. At least Erebus is a good villain. You love to hate Erebus. With Corferon, you just want him to fucking die. Brutally. Come on GW, just do it. Vulcan had a nice childhood, which makes sense. The dude is a saint. It was also one of the most humble, as he was not adopted by a king or warlord, but by a simple blacksmith. Sure, he quickly became a legend in his small town for his skill with blacksmithing and his growth, but it was nothing crazy. After a short while, Vulcan had mastered blacksmithing and then begun inventing new techniques that he taught to his town. However, it would be during a Dark Elder raid that Vulcan would go from boy to man. Vulcan stood firm against the raid, inspiring his people to do the same as they crushed the Dark Elder raiders and cemented Vulcan's legacy as a savior. By this point though, he had grown out of his childhood. Overall, a pretty humble beginning, which goes a long way to explain how he turned out. Corvus was a bit of a beast from day one. The first thing he did when he landed on his world was kill a guard that was beating a little girl. He was adopted by the world's slaves, who decided that they needed to keep this special child hidden from their overlords until the time where he was strong enough to lead them to freedom. Corvus spent his childhood practicing practicing his stealth, learning the basics of humanity, and wandering around the prison complex. It was during this time he discovered his invisibility power, which allowed him to explore even more. By the end of his childhood, he had mapped the entire prison complex and devised a huge strategy to escape. So overall, a childhood well spent. Alpharis was the only Primarch not to get scattered, so he was quite literally raised by the Emperor and Malcador, but mostly Malcador. Malcador taught Alpharis to be a master of subterfuge and infiltration. The extremely secretive nature of the Alpha Legion is mostly due to the teachings of Malcador. Alpharis was trained to be the Emperor's contingency plan, a hidden Primarch to use as an ace up their sleeve. Amigan, on the other hand, was scattered. His childhood is mostly a mystery, but it was very brutal, with Amigan fighting to survive against a pretty vicious Xenos. This is why Amigan had the impressive scaled armor and Xeno's spear. He was a warrior, whereas Alpharius preferred unmarked basic power armor, as he was the subtle infiltrator. This shows that the Alpha Legion was likely originally a warrior legion with infiltration elements, Malcador's influence making it more about infiltration. In saying that, Alpha Legionnaires are great warriors, with them having squads purely dedicated towards straight up combat with zero stealth, so they haven't completely abandoned this original purpose. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, where we've just uploaded the final lore-friendly Commissar Kane not suitable for work artwork for only $1. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more Primarchy content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
He said, huh. Okay. Alright. I think it was, what was it? 6 to 10 minutes on this one? Caitlin, was it 6 to 10?
He said 3 to 10.
3 to 10?
Always.
All of the galaxies in the universe, right? That all of the billions of ants and beetles that exist in this world, that somehow all of that was made specifically with the thought of like you and me chatting it up here one day, Peter. Like it's nonsensical. And not only that, I think the danger comes in when you do elevate yourself and your own knowledge and experience to such a degree, right? One of the things that's so amazing about the scientific method and how we
outright denial of God. Outright denial of the premise of God. So hard to debunk. It's not a matter of debunking that one. Yeah, I can't prove God exists with incontrovertible evidence, but the argument was never about I can prove God exists with incontrovertible evidence.
Also, I find no one credible who has their pronouns out in front of anyone.
Oh, amen.
At all, ever.
Amen. That's your first clue that you're not going to get anything substantive.
Like, okay, video not worth watching.
Do science in general, right? It's the fact that we're getting checked by other people. It's that humbling experience of somebody else coming in and going, man, I actually followed the recipe perfectly, and this is not a good cake. Like, this cake sucks, man. You know, you
Scientists and people who believe in science are humble. People of faith are arrogant and think they know everything. Okay, Mr. I'm a science guy, and you're God King, I am the science Fauci. Sure, scientists are humble and grounded in reality, and never arrogant, smug bastards that think they know everything.
Also, if you have to tell people, I'm so humble with an air of arrogance, if you have to tell people you're humble, you're not.
I wouldn't allow a guy with eyebrows like that to lecture me.
No.
used a bunch of salt instead of a bunch of sugar, so it's terrible. That's one of the most valuable things in life, in my opinion, is just getting that moment where you have to step back and recognize, like, you don't know it all, you know? But yeah, I think kind of like what you said, a lot of times believers do have that feeling, and that's why they tend to ask these questions about atheism, quote unquote, that just go all over the board. Like I get asked all the time about like abiogenesis, and it's like I don't know why people have this desire to have a single answer that fits into every single slot out there. You know, that to me, again, seems a little haughty. It seems a little arrogant. It seems.
Yeah, you could say it seems haughty and arrogant, or it could be elegant. It could be seamless. It could be eloquent. The guy's just giving opinions and acting like they're fact. This guy is arrogant as fuck because he's stating matters of opinion and perspective and stating them like they're facts. He's not making a substantive argument. He's presenting his opinion as the argument. And sorry, sir, who the fuck are you? You're not an expert. You don't have you don't have 3 doctorates in 3 different types of philosophy and theology. You're not a name I know. I just found out you existed 5 minutes ago. Don't talk to me with the arrogance of fucking with the arrogance of my opinion is fact. That's for letting Panda.
Yes. Agreed. It's like,
Wax.
well, because he always sends us the same kind of people. And they're always a huge brain cell dulling waste of time. And it's like, this is why you're so vapid. Because these are the kind of people that you listen to. If this is your intellectual diet, that's why your brain is flabby.
Then how do you explain my brain still being pretty good despite the fact that my intellectual diet is cotton candy and marshmallows?
I mean, but you get your protein, like with Jordan Peterson and James Lindsay and other things.
Okay,
like
fair
that.
enough.
So, I mean, you...
She said, but you get your protein.
Yeah, sure, you don't watch this. God. I totally believe
It's like one would do better by just taking a step back and recognizing
totally
that the
why you
world
send
is
it in
much
for us
bigger
to
and things are more nuanced.
you don't
But let me chuck it over to Dave real quick and get some of his thoughts on this. We'll give it right back to you, Peter.
Yeah, fundamentalism of any kind is arrogance personified. When to your point, secular, when I was a believer, I was fundamentalist evangelical.
Usually Ben Shapiro, and I don't know who AJW is. Any fundamentalism is the height of arrogance. Okay, does that include mathematical fundamentalism? If I say 2 plus 2 is 4, is that arrogance? I know 2 plus 2 equals 4 as surely as anyone can know anything. So, are you just making a overgeneralizing statement, sir? Or do you actually believe that? Actual justice warrior. Okay.
I believed that what I believed was the absolute right way to believe, and anyone who didn't believe like me was wrong in some regard. Even other born again Christians, if they weren't charismatic, if they didn't have the power of the Holy Spirit like I supposedly did, then they were just getting it a little bit more wrong than me. And it is the height of arrogance to think that whatever our position is on anything is the only correct position. I know there are Christians, there are people.
Okay, that's twice he's said it. It's not an accident. He actually believes this principle that absolutes don't exist. Okay, sir, you're an idiot. There are some things that you can have a position on that are the absolute right position. And what's funny is, I bet if I was able to have a conversation with you, Dave Warnock, you'd agree with me. Because saying pedophilia is evil, you're not going to convince me there's any possible outlook on pedophilia other than it's evil. What to do if someone's freezing to death? You bring them inside. That is an ironclad principle, sir, that there is no room for debate on. There are absolutes, Dave. absolutes exist. And I'm sorry you don't want to live in a world with hard boundaries. I'm sorry you want to live in a world where there are no hard rules and hard, fast realities that we all have to agree to. But that is, in fact, the world you live in. Deal with it. Got anything to say about that, Zack? I'm a gray Jedi. I don't know what you want from me. I'd like to introduce him to my friend Self-Awareness. Right? Hey, E, how's it going, man?
Here's going.
Is water wet? No, it makes things wet. Wet is a word that describes the state of being covered in water. Yes, Panda hath returned. Alright, before we continue numbing our brains, let's do this really quick. Wax redeem. Da-da-da-da. On the floor. Where is it?
Standard retard.
Okay, Jeremy, what number is that? 2. Holy shit! I am not gonna have hair left on this arm.
Why does it like that arm so much?
Okay, they're really okay. Yeah, if you lay it right here, you'll actually or so either on the side, one of the sides.
Okay. Well, is it under your ass?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow, dude, yeah, we get it. Yes. Your dad didn't love you. I'm sorry, okay?
Like, you know, he's not still getting cigarettes around here. Like, that's...
Jeremy, it was under my ass. Peel it and put it on.
Okay.
Reroll due to lack of hair? Nuh-uh, that's not how this works.
There is hair. There is hair. Okay. Okay.
You know wax on, wax off hard enough. Yeah, you're not gonna start a stadium you're not gonna start a stadium chant. It's already on. And unless you motherfuckers donate bits to buy these for me, I'm just not gonna give you that much fucking leeway on this one.
Alright. Ready? Just start chucking them.
Right. I'll tell you when.
Alright. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. Oh my guys. Now we shall hold an auction.
Oh my god, Jeremy. Are you ever not gonna say that bit?
No. You guys can order genuine Zack hair.
My wife is weird. Oh yes, she's weird. She wants to sell my hair online. My wife is weird.
He's like,
she's pretty weird.
You could remove the left/right from the roll, so just arm/leg, whatever.
But then I would have to change the number on the dice rolls, and I'd have to use something other than a 20-sided die. No. Hey, that's not as weird as selling your farts, okay? Yeah, that's true. The fuck is this?
Like,
Let's do this really quick.
In a jar, Martin.
Wax redeem. Let's do this really quick. Why was I don't even know what I was doing that my arm was moving like that. Let's do this really quick. I was fucking. It was.
You were shaking the dice.
It was it was rolling the dice in my palm. Let's do this really quick.
Oh no.
Zack Harrison.
2, 3.
Wow, the timing on that really was perfect.
Oh my god. Now we shall hold it off.
The timing on that really was perfect.
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
2, 3.
This is the clip. Let's do this really quick. Grumble created a clip that made it look like I'm jerking off. Wax redeem. Oh, Musty Merkin. Ew.
Oh
no.
People of faith who don't hold these fundamentalist views. They're more open-minded. They might say something like, well, I believe in God this way, but if you believe in him differently or in a different God, then I'm okay with that because I may be wrong. I have more tolerance for that kind of faith, even though I'm someone who believes that we'd be better off as humans in the world if there were no religions at all, if there was no faith, if we just lived by logic and reason and what the evidence showed us. But
these guys aren't saying anything new. It's all the typical left-wing atheist talking points, dude. Oh, the world would be better off without religion. You have literally no evidence to establish that. Literally none. It's a baseless assertion. And by the way, we wouldn't have science if it wasn't for religion. Proves you just don't know jack fucking shit about history when you go saying, oh, if only we were all science and no religion. You wouldn't have your precious science if it wasn't for the monks of my religion founding it. Dumbass. God, these fucking people, they don't know shit.
No.
And then they get up here, they act all hoity-toity and morally superior. What did he say a couple seconds ago? Hang on.
May be wrong. I have more tolerance for that kind of. I believe in God this way, but of faith, correct position. I know there are Christians, there are people of faith who don't hold these fundamentalist views. They're more open-minded.
Well, wrong again, sir. There's no such thing as a non-fundamentalist Christian. Because you're not a disciple of Christ unless you believe the fundamentals. By definition. So you're wrong again. This guy's not worth my time, Panda. He's an intellectual lightweight pretending to know what he's talking about, pretending to have an air of authority. He's not worth anyone's time. The Inquisition was awesome, actually. I've seen this. Have I seen this from this channel?
If you live in the English-speaking world, it's almost certain that you've heard someone bring up something called...
I've seen it. It's funny. I've seen this exact video title from another channel. I don't know if they stole the video premise and the title overtly, or if it's homage to it or something. But I have seen this exact video premise and title on another channel.
The Inquisition. This refers to organized efforts of Christian church leaders to purge heresy in their societies. It was most prevalent and organized in the mid.
Do I agree that without religion, all of us were barbarians these days? I'm not sure what you mean by were. Do you mean would be?
Would be, yeah.
If you mean do I think all of us would be barbarians if religion hadn't come to exist? There's a strong chance of it. I'm not positive. I'd say there's like a 20, maybe 30% chance that if religion had never became a thing, then we would in fact still be basically barbarians. But religion was always going to be a thing. Our brains are literally designed to lead us in that direction.
What kind of voodoo do you do?
Middle Ages. Along with the Crusades, the Inquisition is a favorite target of those looking to paint Christian history in a bad light. This narrative has been reinforced by films, books, and even video games. Films like History of the World Part 1 show the Inquisition as a bunch of wacky priests torturing Jews. Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Pit and the Pendulum, depicts an Inquisition victim being executed by a gigantic pendulum. We should immediately note that both of these depictions of the Inquisition feature torture devices that never actually existed. The Iron Maiden is a total myth, as are a lot of the devices shown in this scene. As for pendulums, there's zero evidence such things were ever used for torture. But regardless of how inaccurate this kind of media is, it both reflects and reinforces popular misunderstandings about the Inquisition. It's become amazing how out of touch.
Oh. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right, Maru. I think I did make that mistake. Fair enough.
This perception is with the conclusions of actual historians. The Inquisition today is mostly brought up for Christian bashing, by people with an incentive to demonize the religion. But it didn't actually start with them. These narratives go all the way back to 1500s England. During England's transition from Catholic to Protestant, anti-Inquisition propaganda was used to denounce both Catholicism and England's main rival, Spain. Similar claims were later made in the 17 and 1800s by anti-clerical and anti-Christian historians. Since then, many unsuspecting people treated those views as truth despite them being largely debunked by modern research. And today, many accept anti-Inquisition narratives because they lack the proper knowledge to argue otherwise. This video will set the record straight. I'll be addressing the biggest points surrounding the Inquisition, the history of Inquisitions, the number of people killed, the methods used by inquisitors, and whether the concept of Inquisition itself is against Christianity. Critics make many assertions that are misguided at best or factually wrong at worst. In this video, you'll be finding out why the Inquisition was justified and important to Christianity's
Which came from the Cathars, who were Gnostic. Yeah, they were against Christianity.
integrity as a religion. After this, you'll know what to say when someone brings up the Inquisition. We should begin by defining exactly what an Inquisition is.
You know, you could wait until the enemies are defeated before you start attacking our allies!
They're, forces of darkness shrouded in light, Jeremy. So, no, they're not. They're the people that are going to get to the gates and be like, we drove out devils in your name! And he's going to be like, I don't know who the fuck you are.
The word Inquisition comes from the Old French word for inquiry or investigation. In the Christian sense, it refers to efforts to combat heresy, or false teachings that violate Christian orthodoxy. If you can't imagine why policing heresy would be necessary, I invite you to look at what some so-called Christians say in the name of God in our current time. I apologize for what you're about to see, but it's necessary.
I believe in the non-binary God, whose pronouns are plural. I believe in Jesus Christ, their child, who wore a fabulous tunic and had 2 dads.
Jesus! See, Kate, this is what I'm talking about. These people exist in the church, and still, and your focus is on the Catholics for some reason.
No, it's not my entire focus. They are just a facet. I'm completely consistent. I have a problem with them just as much as I have a problem with these people. Because Mary being the Holy Mother is actually a shroud for a Nana.
Right, Merkin.
So
we could also say Jesus is gay.
And that means that there will be more drag preachers. Amen?
Now that you have an idea of what heresy looks and sounds like, let's talk a bit about the history of Inquisitions. Through Christian history, there were several different official inquisitions, but inquisition of some form or another has always been part of Christianity. There's no time period you could go to where there wasn't some form of inquisition within the Christian church. From the beginning, the church had to confront people who presented their beliefs as Christian when what they said or did contradicted the faith passed down from the apostles. The early church leadership had to combat many heresies. Early accounts in the Bible and Paul's letters show the young church correcting those who falsely represented the faith. Church fathers and early theologians wrote extensively against the first heresies their communities faced, such as Gnosticism. It was in response to such heresies that the famous book Against Heresies was written by St. Irenaeus.
What's this? MAGA pastor unleashes bigoted tirade on Hindu GOP candidate. Oh boy. Here we go.
Irenaeus 180 AD. The church rightfully considered her duty to educate and guide all the baptized. It should be obvious that allowing false Christian teachings to run rampant would have been a death sentence for early Christianity. Without authority and order, no one would have been able to define what Christianity even is. Imagine being a Roman citizen and hearing 10 different versions of Christianity. It would make it much more confusing and harder to convert. In those days, the church responded to false teachings with denunciation and, if persistent, expulsion from the community. Priests and church leaders found guilty of spreading false doctrine were subject to flogging and imprisonment. These early, disorganized inquisitions brought order to what could have been chaos. As Christianity became the faith of the Roman Empire and the European kingdoms, the faith became understood as the fundamental, unifying principle of culture. To step outside the faith.
Okay, so I see the argument this guy is making, and he's using a broad stroke brush to say the Inquisitions were awesome. Hang on, does he have a section of the video where the number executed, the truth about torture in the Inquisition, the Christian justification for Inquisition? Okay, he does get to the torture. Do I want to watch this whole thing? I don't feel, look, I'm sorry, I don't feel like watching this whole thing right now. Look. Some of the Inquisitions were legitimate in the pursuit of protecting the faith. Sure, I think there's plenty of historical evidence to back that up. It's also true... Shut up, Maru. It's also true that at one point, the royals actually co-opted the power of the church and stole the Inquisition, essentially, from the Pope, and was using the church as an instrument to prosecute political opponents.
Yep.
So, and that's not the fault of the church, but that is an instance where the Inquisition was totally illegitimate. So. Alright, it's a short. It can't be more than a minute. I'll entertain it. What brilliant wisdom do you think you have for us today, Fat Man?
What's the difference between being religious and being insane?
Well, as someone who's a schizophrenic Christian, let's hear it, bucko.
Well, more people are religious. That's about the only fucking difference. I mean, think about it. If one person and one person alone believed that a magical, divine carpenter who created the universe but came to Earth in human form died in an execution 2,000 years ago, and that was the blood sacrifice that redeemed all of mankind from eternal damnation. If one person believed that, they would be insane. They would be crazy. If 10 people believe that, holy shit, it's a cult. But if 2.18 billion people believe that, it's a religion, and all of a sudden, it deserves respect. What's the...
Congratulations, sir. You've observed the crowd-proof phenomenon, which is something humans have used as a fundamental builder of society since forever. Yeah, if enough people agree that something is a thing, it becomes a thing. When enough people say they've experienced the thing, it becomes a thing that's acknowledged as real. Not to mention, oh my God, the historical account. I love this is an argument that atheists never bring up. They never try to debunk that the Bible is history in any serious fashion. Or if they do, they lie because there is no evidence that the Bible isn't history other than the parts that are obviously parable and fable. They pretend that eyewitness accounts, they pretend that people being there to witness the thing isn't how the overwhelming majority of what we know about history is recorded. But for some reason, when it comes to God, 2.18 billion people isn't enough crowd proof to establish that there might actually be something there. No, it's impossible. 2.18 billion people have got to have it wrong. I'm so much smarter than them. I know what's true. There is no God. Sir, you call us arrogant? You call us crazy. You're telling me something doesn't exist, and your argument is, bro, doesn't this sound crazy? Bro, no, this could never happen. People have been frozen in ice for like a day and been thawed out and were perfectly fine. It defies every single thing we know about human medicine, how to save people from frostbite, etc., etc. And yet, it's happened multiple fucking times. Guess what, dipshit? Sometimes miraculous things that shouldn't be true are true.
Yeah. But also, I vote. No more of this fuckwad.
Lord Farquaad. No, I got a good rant out of that. If it's a short, I'll take it. It appears that when he manages to edit his point down into a short, it's one succinct, non-meandering point that I can quickly attack and be done with. So I can tolerate that. What I don't like about his content is that he'll have the beginning of an argument, he'll make a point, 3 minutes of insult, next point, 3 minutes of insult, a piece of evidence to back up the last point, another 3 minutes of insult. There's no point in watching him when it's that. But if he's willing to make his point in a minute, where there isn't much time for insult, then not the entire span yet. Most feared Inquisition killed only, but commies have a right to speak against us. Is that Maru saying that? And for reference, on killings were killed throughout the entire Spanish Inquisition, yet most feared Inquisition killed, but commies. Yeah, I see the point you're making, Maru. I think it has historical aspects, but I think a lot of the mystical part of it is more people trying to explain what they did not understand as far as history, or it was symbolism twisted. It has aspects that are of historical nature, but not specifically accurate in detail. Well, that's where you're wrong, Twisted, because there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that points to an exact point in history that's confirmed by other historical documents. So, sorry, the Bible is actual hard history in some parts.
We are in danger as a country. And listen to me, Generation Z. Listen to me, millennials. Those of you that are watching, that you like this new young guy. If he does not serve the Lord...
Nah, we're probably going to wrap up after this, Jim.
Jesus Christ, and stand primarily for Judeo-Christian principles, you will have a fight with God. What are we doing? Even entertaining the fact you're going to have some dude put his hand on something other than the Bible? You're going to let him put all of his strange gods up in the White House and we're just supposed to blink because he understands policies? So America, be smarter than that, because it won't matter what the prophets prophesy if we now take on a fight with God over his jealousy. Dangerous. And no, they would not make a great vice president.
There it is. Like every other Republican candidate for damn near anything, the party leadership of Christian nationalists have realized that it's already small tent just might be a little bit too big to accommodate Vivek Ramaswamy. You know, because God. Vivek is Hindu.
Yeah, I don't think I like what that guy's driving at. Let's see, does he play any more of the clip? Okay, he does play more of the clip of this guy. I'm not interested in this dude's commentary, but I am.
And since he's rising in the polls to a whopping 6.8%.
Question is, who won? If not Trump, who would your next choice be? With 50% Vivek Ramaswamy. And so the two big winners, Donald Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy, at 50% of you said Trump won, Vivek too.
The news of this didn't rub minds of his.
Voice of the Lord at 2 o'clock in the morning. In fact, it was Wednesday morning. After that flashpoint, I heard the voice of the Lord at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was so authoritative, and he said these words. He said, I am the Lord God. I am a jealous God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. And I said to God at 2 o'clock in the morning, I said, as your voice, I will say that to the people and remind them. It's why our country has been blessed. Whether the presidents have followed Jesus, no, they've been held to a standard. You're not bringing your idols into our country.
These guys really.
Okay, I got news for you, buddy. Their idols are already in the country. This country has had religious freedom since the get-go. It was founded on religious freedom, which is why Christianity spread like wildfire here. Look, man, I'm going to assume you're... I'm talking to the preacher. Look, man, I'm going to assume you're being sincere. I'm going to assume your heart is in the right place here and tell you this is not the way, brother. Like, it sounds like you're being racist. I don't think that's your intention, but it sounds like it. And this country's religious freedom is not up for debate. It says in the Bible, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. We are taught to abide by the laws of the land we are in. Religious freedom is the law of the land. And the way the country elects its leaders is law of the land. Do I think it would be optimal for the president and the majority, all of the government, in fact, to be God-fearing Christians? Oh, hell yeah, that would be optimal. This country would be damn near utopia if we were run entirely by actual God-fearing Christians. We would hardly have a problem. But that's not the world we live in. That's not the country we live in. It was not designed to run that way. It shouldn't be run that way because that will invite more scrutiny upon our house than is necessary. And you can't go around telling people that they can't follow a leader of men just because he believes the wrong God. Look, he's a leader of men. He's a glorified CEO. He's a glorified general. He runs the country. He's not our God. He's not our king. He can believe whatever the hell he wants as long as he does a good job of running the country. And I think Vivek would do a good job of running the country, for the record. If Trump dies, so I can't vote for him, or if he somehow by some miracle is not the Republican candidate, Vivek is a strong second option, and I'd vote for him. So God isn't going to shun someone who may follow. That's not what I'm saying. God will absolutely shun you if you follow another God, but God will not shun you if you are a Christian who votes to put a Hindu into the presidency. That's what I'm saying. If you follow another God, you will not be accepted into heaven, period. But if I, as a Christian, say, this guy is running for the office, he's not Christian, he follows another religion, but I think he'd do a good job, and I vote for him, God is not going to not let me into heaven because I spoke out in favor of a fellow human. You know, there's Christians all throughout the Bible endorsing the actions or behaviors of Gentiles, people that weren't Christians, and some of them literally in the Bible confirmedly made it into heaven, even though they'd spoken out in support of Gentiles. for various reasons. So, no, you can't tell them. There's no biblical argument to say that if I vote for Vivek Ramaswamy, I'm going to hell. It's just not there. The preacher is misguided, Twisted. The preacher is definitely misguided. However, I fear you probably don't have a good biblical understanding of what love actually means. So careful throwing around, isn't God supposed to be love? Biblical love is not Hollywood love. So you have to actually have an understanding of what biblical love actually means. No, you said God-fearing. Oh, yeah, in the same way you fear your dad when you're a kid. Do you not love your father? You can fear someone, or at least fear something they represent, and still love the person. You didn't fear your dad? Oh, I did. Well, more specifically, I didn't fear my father. I feared pissing him off. Are you telling me you weren't afraid of pissing your dad off? There was no, oh shit, if I do this, my dad's going to be mad at me? Because almost every kid has that, who has a dad in their life. I didn't think fear in this context is not really. Well, you're a unique person then. Most people grow up with at least that oh shit voice in the back of their head that says, if I do this, I will get my ass beat. I think most kids have that to some degree. You didn't care about being punished? Oh, see, that makes you a highly unique individual then. Most kids can't stand being punished, myself included. Especially because my punishment was often capital. Well, excuse me, corporal. Yeah, my dad killed me all the time, don't you know? I feared the switch on the tree that I'd have to pick. Undisclosed government agency. Alright.
Believe America in God's...
What do you mean, Gentile non-Christians? I thought Gentile is non-Jewish person. Okay, that's a good point. I was conflating the two terms, but to be fair, all of the early Christians were Jews. So, in the context I used it, it was still proper, because there was no such thing as a non-Jewish Christian, someone who was not of Jewish descent. So, yeah, what you're saying would be accurate if I was speaking in current terms, but I was speaking about biblical times when literally every Christian was also a born Jew. So, yeah.
God, both.
Because I know a lot of people, our main audience is the conservative Christian right-winger that's going, hey, what's going on with America? We need to figure out what's happening. We need to fix it. And so they're asking me, why would you have a guy that's a Hindu on and compared to Christianity? And I think this is before we go any further, I need to hear from you. Speak to that with our audience, because they need to understand where you come down on this, on the stand of religious freedom. Are you against Christianity? You know, where is all of this happening? I know you've had to deal with this already before, but I wanted our people to hear from you direct.
Vivek, our audience of violent and closed mind.
That was not him realizing they hate him. That was him saying to himself, fuck, how am I going to sell this? Assumption of malice, assumption of worst possible interpretation. That is one of the defining characteristics of the American leftist. Vivek made a face, and this dude instantly assumed it was the worst and most favorable to his position, emotion, or thought that run through Vivek's head. Guy is a biased, bigoted prick. The one who runs for president? Yeah, I like him too.
Iron fist rule. They don't trust you.
After Trump,
they don't trust you. What do you want me to do?
At this point, I
so
like
to
him
fix
more than Ron.
this issue, Vivek tried to pander to their bloodthirst.
Is found conversation to have, because it's true that the United States of America is founded on Judeo-Christian values. That is a fact. And it is also a fact that I'm not raised in a Christian household. I'm a Hindu. I think the reality is that we share the same values, those Judeo-Christian values in common. I'm not running for pastor-in-chief. I'm running for commander-in-chief, president of the United States. But I share that same value set in common. I do think that the real divide in our country is not...
I would love to see him be vice president.
...between people of Hindu faith and Christian faith and Jewish faith. It's the people who believe in a one true God and those who have replaced that vacuum with new secular religions instead. Wokeism, transgenderism, climatism, COVIDism. These are modern cults that have substituted for the individual, family, nation, and God, faith in something bigger than ourselves.
That's right, Gene. I'm the embodiment of everything that you guys irrationally hate. Hey, but just check this out.
Wow. I'm the embodiment of everything you guys irrationally hate. He didn't say anything there that I hate, you absolute fucking partisan hack. God, the Young Turks, man. Just absolutely no intellectual integrity, no merit behind a damn thing they say. They throw ad hom, they throw empty rhetoric, and they expect their people to keep coming back. No wonder they've been shrinking pretty consistently for years now, and they're basically down to their core audience that's never going to leave unless Cenk literally kills someone on camera. Fucking chunk yogurt. Cringe Unger. Jeremy?
Yes, Jeremy.
Where is my Santa hat?
Where's your Santa hat? Oh, that's a good question. What did you do, Jeremy? Here it is.
Hey, Moonshine. Listen to me. You gotta listen to me. I know it's crazy. I've seen the reports, okay? I've read the reviews. I know they're going it. They're putting bigotry in the water that are turning the Democrats, well, into more Democrats. Okay, it's crazy. They're like hardening their minds. They're hardening their souls. They're not even human anymore. I don't understand it, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of them putting chemicals in the water that are turning the Democrats into super Democrats. Super Democrats, yeah, that's the word. Super Democrats. I'm tired of it. And for some reason, they're a lot like gay frogs.
Well, because they're Democrats.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
I can also throw out a bunch of scary isms just as easily as Ron DeSantis can. Does that qualify me yet? Bailey, he must came right back. It was by the...
Get started, I want to personally address some things about Flashpoint from last Tuesday. Let me start off with this. This program is based 100% on the Christian Bible. That is not up for discussion. Neither I nor anyone else in this team has or will ever embrace another religion. So why did I have a presidential candidate on the program Tuesday?
Why aren't the Democrats like the traditional Democrats? What do you mean, why aren't they? Democrats haven't been a legitimate political force since Operation Paperclip, maybe before. So, I really don't know what you mean, why aren't the Democrats like traditional Democrats? Well, because they're Marxists, for starters? I mean, they started off as just being racist assholes, but then they became Marxist racist assholes, which is, like, way worse. Like, I guess that's how they're not traditional?
That professes another faith. When someone of another faith begins to gain popularity, especially with the younger generation, you need to know about that. I won't back down. I won't back down from the Judeo-Christian values this nation was founded upon. Neither will this ministry, this channel, this program, and neither should you, ever.
Yeah, Moonshine, that's not true. That's not true at all. That is a common talking point you hear from the left. They try to use that to... The reason that talking point exists is they started saying that to counter the "we're the party of the KKK" thing. They're like, okay, we literally cannot deny the hard evidence that Democrats founded the KKK. That's like literally incontrovertible history that we cannot get past. So we're going to spin this and pretend there was a switch point in which all of the racists switched parties. And anytime you actually go down the line of their arguments that says the party switch happened, it's either a lie, a misrepresentation, or just or some other logical fallacy.
It's a lie.
It's just a lie. It never happened. And there's absolutely no hard evidence that it did. And plus, it would be pretty hard to prove something like that anyways. Like, it's kind of one of those nebulous accusations that's like, how the fuck are you gonna prove the parties switched? Just because you say everything we do is racist doesn't mean everything we do is racist. In fact, again, Clinton's 1994, 1984 crime bill? 94, right? The 1994 crime bill, right? Mm-hmm. Right. Like, you want to talk about racist? How about that one, Democrats? That's recent. And that destroyed black neighborhoods. I mean, that just effed black America up the A with a capital D. Bars. Classified 2020 documents be like Operation Gay.
I remain to stand proud and proclaim Jesus is Lord.
I really wonder if
the main argument isn't the parties were changed, but that in the 1960s, adopted so and Republicans like Nixon appealed to Southern white voters by opposition to new civil rights. Yeah, and just because one person in the party makes a political decision does not mean the entire party moved that way. And it appealed to Southern voters by opposition to new civil rights efforts. Evidence for that claim? Because I'm honestly not aware of anything Nixon actually did or said that proves that. I could be wrong. I might be historically ignorant on that argument. I haven't seen the evidence for that. Remember LBJ's famous quote?
Yes.
We'll have and
That
bombs.
guy was a fucking racist.
Yep.
Yeah, no. The Democrat Party has always been the racist party.
Yeah, my back. Okay.
There's ever going to come a time when Republican candidates like Vivek here, who are not old, white, Christian nationalist cis men, realize that the party is never going to actually like, trust, or accept them, even if you go the route that Ramaswamy has gone lately.
Mind your P's and Q's, Panda, because I know this is your favorite subject to beat over the head, because we have literally had this discussion over 30 times.
And just try as hard as possible he can to embody that hate, that violence, and that exclusion.
If you want to vote as an 18-year-old between the ages of 18 and 25, you need to either do your civic duty through service to the country, that's 6 months of service in either military service or in a first responder, including police, fire, or otherwise, or else you have to pass the same civics test that an immigrant has to pass.
The leader right now would be Donald Trump if you look at the polls. What are the policy differences you have between yourself and Donald Trump?
So first of all, Donald Trump's a friend. I'm not running against him. He was the OG of America First. I'm taking that to the next level with America First 2.0.
My concern, Charlie, is unless we reconcile ourselves with what the truth of the matter was that led to January 6th, that's really just going to be a friendly preview of what's to come in this country.
You know, but just like Ben Carson, Herman Cain, Bobby Jindal, Tim Scott, Nikki Haley, and Marco Rubio, and many others, I'm sure, Vivek may eventually learn that his existence is just too weird and scary for the Republican Party to even accept ever as their actual leader. There's no way, mostly because they think like this.
You're going to let him put all of his strange gods up in the White House and we're just supposed to blink?
Hey, asshole, you might have an articulate argument. You might have something if Vivek wasn't second in the polls over national heartthrob governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. If the things you were saying were true, if this is actually how we thought in mass, Vivek would be under every other white Christian candidate. You're just verifiably lying. I know you don't want to accept that your opponents actually measure people upon their achievement, upon personality, upon their actual self. You just want to boil everything down to race, and especially when you're telling your audience how your enemy thinks, you want to say, see, they're exactly like us, just in bad ways. That is the level of your argument. Pathetic. What is your opinion on the Jason Aldean song? It was alright. He's a little bitch for caving and changing the video, though.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna watch.
G'day, guys.
Because I love videos like this. All right, guys. I have decided that it is a time to do a raid. Yep. It was a good stream. I really enjoyed this. Thank you all for being here. Who are we gonna raid? Rare Gangsta. I have a thing for that, Zack. I heard it was Fox suing him to remove their clips. Yeah, I heard that too. And if that's the case, if it was a lawsuit, then he's off the hook. Because I can understand wanting to avoid a lawsuit. Oh, you're live, Maru?
Oh, nice. Okay.
Maru's Boneyard.
Nice.
Very well.
We shall raid you then.
We are raiding Maru. Welcome to the adventure of streaming, Maru, my good friend. Get back. All right, everyone, we're going to raid Maru. Please go over there and give him a follow. You know him. He's been a mod here in stream for, like, ever.
Yep.
I mean, I think he was our first mod, actually.
Yeah.
Outside, besides Owen. Owen was first. Maru was second.
Maru was second.
So he's the OG mod.
Yep.
Please go give him a follow and
all of the love.
show him some adventurous love.
Right in the butthole.
In the ass. All right. We are going on an adventure into the boneyard.
Oh, yeah.
No homo. Kick chat intensifies. Can you find someone for me to raid? On Voodoo is kick streaming a religion, and I pray to it. What? No. All right, we're raiding out. Kick. Grumple, help me find someone on Kick to host.